It's clobberin' time!
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger, ready to move out.
Come get some.
It's clobberin' time!
The word is given.
Clobberonimo!
Greetings, clobberers, clobberonimos, clobberuskis, clobberoids, and clobberians, and clobologists, whatever else you may or may not clobber out there. I'll leave it to you as long as you learn how to bang the rocks together, guys.
Oh, Clobby.
What?
You sound sad.
Oh.
Clobberonimo!
Oh, well, you don't, so that's all that matters.
There we
Not
go.
bad at all.
Cheer up.
That's what I was waiting
Hello,
for.
my friends. What's up?
I know the weather is really something this time of year for you. I'm so sorry, sweetheart.
That's I mean, it's not. Oh, it's gonna get way worse. We get noise lousy. It's gonna get way worse, but it's not. It's weird. Clobberin' Times, issue number 487, my friends. 1,000. That's on YouTube, of course. 1,487 overall. It is Clobby's Clubhouse tonight, number 131, with my wonderful first officer, Commander R.M. Briggs, and the great Chief Engineer, Mark D. with C's. Hello. Welcome both. Welcome, friends in the chat. It's good to see you all. So we got some fun for you tonight. We're going to have some fun. We're going to review a Blake 7 episode, a Kolchak the Night Stalker episode, and a Star Trek comic, and much more. And we're going to get right down to it. And maybe enabling, yes. We shall get right down to it. But first, of course, our wonderful first officer will open up with some words. Take the con, number one.
Thank you so much, Captain. The boss is right. Hail to the chat. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Clobby's Clubhouse on Clobberin' Times. And hail to Mark. I'm so excited about the show tonight. Lots of cool stuff to explore, thanks to our captain, Mike Clobby Alonso. But before we get into that, I just want to send out some thanks. The first thing I want to say is a thank you to Lord Thoth, Larry, Chris Persia, Gwagnar, Wes Cagle, and of course, Lisa. These marvelous human beings have been using their Clobby's channel and to promote Clobby's shows. And I mean, they're there every day doing it. They're just magnificent human beings. So I have to say thank you to them. I also want to thank Scuba Pete. And I want to thank JT Kirk, and I want to thank Michael Beacom for supporting my work. I just love your reviews, and I just appreciate you more than I can possibly say. I also want to send a special shout out to Enigmatic Drop Bear and his family. If you're someone who prays, could you send out some prayers for Enigmatic Drop Bear and his family? If you're not someone who prays, maybe just a nice message or some good vibrations. Please send it his way. He's battling the big C, and and it has taken a toll on his family, and he had a tremendous loss this year, and I just really love him a lot, and I just want him to know that every time we go on air, that this space is where his team is. We're like his baseball team, and we're here to cheer him on. We're kicking ass and taking names, and we have bats, and we can beat the big C. I just love that human being. So all the love to Enigmatic Drop Bear. I also want to thank my Patreons, like my patrons. I hate saying my Patreons. It's so weird. I want to thank my patrons. Today, my third book, I released the very first story from it. It's called The Helianthus Project. And within one day, it shot up to #1 on Amazon in hot new releases in science fiction, and it was #9 in science fiction. I can't even believe that. That's just wild. Like just in science fiction in general.
Right. Yeah.
That's just crazy. And I love you all very much. You know, it's 99 cents for you. It's only pennies for me. But the more this happens, maybe the closer we'll get to the wider public discovering these stories. So that's because of all of you. And I love you all very much. Thank you for that. That is correct. My third book will be dedicated to my my patrons, the marvelous human beings who actually made my second book possible. And tonight I sent a message to my editor and I said, I'm dying here. I'm dying here. What did you think of it? Is it ready yet? Is it ready yet? I'm officially a pest. So I hope he gets back to me right away. But I just want to thank the folks who made my second book possible. They paid for the advertising. They made it possible for me to get out to conventions and to do book signings. They are marvelous human beings. They are my corporation. They are my publishers. They are my readership. They are my friends. I just want to thank Larry for everything he's done for me. You are a fine Southern gentleman, and I love you dearly. I want to thank Tony Stark, Sean Carter, Penny Lane, Shooter, Gwagnar, Dave, Chris Persia, Scuba and Leslie Pete, Eric K and his trusty dusty dog Kirby, Enigmatic Drop Bear, Michael and Cassandra Beacom, Mark D with a C, Anti-Derivative Jill, Maximum Redstone, JT Cook, he is Kirok, like legally he's Kirok, Dadman and the Dadman clan, Lord and Lady Thoth, and of course Lance, who is our very own Porthos, and that gives us a chance to chuck some cheese into chat for all of the pepperonis here. Pets are a big deal here on Clobbering Times. I also want to thank my buddy Rob Altus, Tyler, Jeff Wyatt, Rod Thunderheart, my guitar playing buddy Mazeris, and my good friend Wes Cagle. Thank you so much for backing my book, for reading my stories, for telling people about the stories, for leaving incredible reviews. It is my honor and pleasure to entertain you. And I'm so happy that you love these classic episodic science fiction tales that don't mess around with activism or BS. They're just shooting straight from the hip, the science fiction we all love. If you have not purchased my stories, could you give me a hand? Would you please do that for me? I sell them for 99 cents per story so that I can prove myself to you. And they're available at Barnes & Noble. They're available on Amazon and obviously through your Kindle, because that's what Amazon is pushing. So I just want to thank you all for that. It really means a lot to me. I'm so grateful for all of you, and I can't wait for the second book to come out. I'm now officially a pest to my editor. I love you all very much. I'm going to be quiet now. Let's start the show. On with the show. This is it. Let's do it.
All right. Anything to say, Mark, before we get started?
Oh, well, congratulations to that, Raquel. And no,
Yes,
I'm sure you're not being a
congrats.
pest, but yeah, maybe that's always the worst when you're waiting for something, right? And then you're like, I won't ask, right? Yeah,
right.
Sometimes you should ask though too, but yeah, it's like, can we go down for Christmas morning? Not yet. You know, we got to wait.
That's exactly what it feels like. That's exactly it. But like, you know, he's worth every second that I'm waiting, because he is definitely one of the most brilliant scholars I've ever read, and I have ever known, and I have ever heard speak. He is a brilliant literary scholar, top in Canada, as far as I'm concerned. So just to have him even reading my stuff is a huge honor. But Mark, I'm officially a pest. It's like Christmas morning every morning now. I'm a pest.
Right? That's what happens. Yep. But
Yeah.
no, I'm sure it'll be all okay. Yep, I'm looking forward to hanging out on Sunday Night Geekery. But we went through our 2 watch parties. So we did last night. We did Cold Check, the werewolf. Of course, we're going to review. So thanks
Ooh.
everyone who's hanging out there. And of course, we just did our Blake 7 watch party just before the clubhouse tonight. So it's good time. And so fresh in everyone's mind, and we're all ready to play checkers and yell really loudly.
Yepper. There you go.
Yep.
The geekery. It's where the geeks are. Go and geek out on the geekery.
Or eatery.
Yep, that too. Yep.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. Okay. Show notes and shout outs, my friends. Nothing big to report. The great J-Man and we will not have a Fantastic Fridays this week. You will come back next week. He and Sean have an event to go to. But I will be on with our good buddy 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser and the Friday Night Comic Shop Boys. 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. They're having very special guests. They're having the Saska sisters from the Rippaverse, creators of the Yara comic, and Nick is very excited about that. So if you're a fan of those comics, and they're the Saska sisters, join us for that. And then Saturday Night Star Trek. 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, same Trek time, same Clubby channel. 4 more episodes of Star Trek Voyager. And the aforementioned, indeed. The aforementioned Sunday Night Geekery, of course. Mark's channel, and much, much more next week. So let's do some shouty outies, shall we? Of course, whether they're here or not, our amazing wrenches get the shout. Eric K., the Bronze Wrencher. Always good to see. I don't know if he's here with us, but always great to have him when he is. We really appreciate all he does. Vindicator Wrench of the Great White North. The great Chris Persia.
Love you.
Hope your dad is doing well, buddy. Hope you're doing well. D. Bud Martin, the Wrench of Iron. Always good to see you there, buddy. Lord Thoth, God of the Wrenches. Avon lives, long live the Legion, my friend. The aforementioned J-Man, the Wrench Without Fear. Fantastic Legionnaire Extraordinaire. Our own Music Meister, Max Redstone. Our rascally wrench himself, Phantom Outsider. Our triple bullwinkle wrench, Larry. There's, of course, our buddies Maddie's Daddy, and there's Kal-El. And let's see who is here with us in the chat tonight. Get you all shouted out before we can get started. Let's see. FKHC 2005. Tim, hello there. Good to see you. We'll get up. Your Muslim uncle, hello there.
Evening.
Good to see you. Brian Hepburn. All right, buddy. Keely Chow back in the States.
Roll Tide.
Someone who posted earlier who's not in there anymore can go screw. It probably does. SP4H. What's up, man?
Hey, how are
there.
you?
Good to see you. Adrian James. Hello, my friend.
Good evening, Adrian.
The Tetrarch's here.
So apathetic.
All right, Tetrarch. Ravenscroft.
Hey.
Suzanne Eckstein. Hello there.
Good evening.
Let's see. Penny. Hello, Penny. Penny, for your thoughts, Penny. I know you probably hear that all the time, and I should not have done so. I'm sorry. It's bad. Ezra Goldstein. Shalom, my friend.
Shalom, sweetheart.
Stephen Mack. All right.
Hey, Stephen's here. Great.
The big Gwag is here. Gwag. Michael Beacom. All right, my friend. Shout out to you and the wonderful Cassandra.
And I should mention, since we're shouting out the greatest couple ever, that Michael Beacom sent me another scan this week for the synopsis, the summary of the Kolchak. So we have his marvelous book. He scans it for us every week. The Night Stalker Companion. So I have the synopsis.
Thank you, Michael. Brogo from my old hometown. Hello.
Mwah,
Hey, man.
mwah, mwah.
Herc 130.
Hooby Dooby. And I was reading Hooby Dooby, Break Out the Tequila, My Buddy Buddy. Holy cow, like tornadoes, like really scary. And just really love you a lot. And please stay safe. That is super scary to hear. I also live where there are terrifying tornadoes. So yeah, super, super scary. Please stay safe. You are loved. Ooby Dooby, Herc 130.
1701 on Tex, brother.
Tex.
He just finished Rock's book once
Oh
more.
my God. I'm so happy that you
Aw.
enjoyed it. I love
you,
you,
buddy.
Tex.
Mazerus.
Maze.
All right, buddy. Good to see you, Maze. Let's see.
Oh,
Let's see
good.
if
I'm
we got
glad you
anybody.
liked it. I'm glad you liked it.
Who, how, what, when?
Oh, just Tex. Tex is just fabulous. I love this human being.
Oh, okay. Oh, there you go. Excellent. Yeah, brother. Good to see you, man. I'm glad you're here, buddy. All right. Well, I guess we could get right down to beeswax so we can get our reviews and stuff taken care of. What do you think?
I say go
Sure.
for it. Let's do it.
All right. If you would do the honors, Chief Engineer.
Yeah, let me get the slideshow rolling. Let me.
Thank you. I know it's something like
No,
this,
no,
but we
no.
do appreciate it.
Oh no, I have
Everyone
fun doing
appreciates
it.
it big
You're
time.
welcome. Yep.
Thank you.
And helps
Yep.
with the it helps with the watch party too. So let's see. Here we go. Virtual
Oh, okay.
camera. Let's see here. If that is that the right one? Yep, that's the right one. Yep.
Righty then. There you go.
And away we go.
Okay, everybody. Tonight's episode is Blake 7 episode. Well, 24 overall. I guess it's episode something like 12 of season 2.
12. Yep, that's 12. Yep.
It is called The Keeper. Previously leading up to this episode, Blake and crew for the better part of the season have been in search of the Federation control complex, computer control. Eventually, after losing Gan and so many other hard times that they've lived over the course of the season, they had learned that the complex in the episode Countdown, they learned from Major Provine that the complex is called Star 1. And that is, of course, their goal. They've been looking for it all season. And at the end of the previous episode, a cyber surgeon by the name of Dockley informed them that there was, gave them their last and only lead that on the planet Goth, a cyber surgeon by the name of Lurgan had gone there with the information. He was the only one that had the information of the location of Star 1. And so we opened this episode carrying over from that. They are in orbit of yes, quote that. You can always quote that episode. I love that episode, Countdown, Max. In orbit of the planet Goth, the Blake, Ville, and Jenna teleport down to the planet. It's a very crude, very backwards, very medieval planet. I mean, they know of space travelers and stuff like that, but they're just very backwards and primitive. They go down there, and of course, inevitably, they are attacked. In the meantime, while they're being attacked, Avon and Jenna, Ajon and Callie up on the ship, spot a Federation, a singular Federation pursuit ship that looks like basically Avon, how he knows, we don't know. We'll never know, probably. He surmises that it is indeed Travis's ship. So decides to sneak up on it and blast it away into the stars, much to Callie's chagrin. She doesn't want to leave the crew alone on the planet, but there you go. Avon decides he's going to, in one of my favorite Avon lines of the whole series, he says, when they're sneaking up on him, I have no objection to shooting him in the back. That's Avon's. So, yeah. Oh, man. In the meantime, of course, Blake and crew are attacked. Blake gets separated from Avon. Can't get my names tonight. So sorry, everybody. From Villa and Jenna, who are captured by the Goths. They're brought to the Goth Shawl. He's their king thingy, whatever. And he, of course, and his sister, the old crone, the like a sorceress lady, are there. And then wackiness ensues as they are brought before him. Meantime, eventually, Avon does destroy the ship and he and Callie, while out there doing that, Blake is running for his life, fighting for his life, being chased, almost killed in the last seconds, of course, as he's yelling for teleport. He gets teleported back up to the elevator in the proverbial nick of time, which,
Beam
of
me up,
course,
Scotty.
yes, he did say that. And he said, ew, wrong show. No wonder they didn't beam me up. And so he just kept yelling, teleport, teleport. I don't know if I have that. I don't have that in mind, do I? The word? Never mind. The word.
The word.
The word. So, Blake gets teleported up there. In the meantime, Jenna and Villa, as I said, have been brought before the Shawl. Oh my God, I'm bad at names tonight. Anyway, what's his face? But he's, of course, Moons of Madness, as Max Redstone would like to say. He's the captain from one of my favorite all-time episodes of Doctor Who by Douglas Adams, The Pirate Planet. Bruce Purchase plays him, of course. But I can't remember his name. Why am I forgetting his damn name?
Gola.
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 Yeah.
Gola. And
Damn
I only know that because I'm looking at the show notes. So
well, you did better than me there. So, yep, yeah, exactly. Your Muslim uncle, he's the anti-paladin. Yes. So, while Jenna starts to be the smartest one in the episode and starts trying to beguile the show, Gola or whatever, and Villa gets turned into a competition to be the Shaw's fool, the court jester, if you will. Mazarus, I love the Pirate Planet. It's among my top 3 all-time episodes in general, and it might be in my top 3 Tom Baker episodes. So I understand what you're saying. I'm right there with you. Love it. Brilliant. Wonderful episode. And a few episodes earlier than this, Mr. Phoebe was in it. So 2 people from the Pirate Planet were this season. Maybe 3 anyway. So as Jenna bides her time and tries to investigate by talking to various people, the Shaw's sister, what's related to the sorceress, old crone, and such, we find out that Servalan and Travis are on the planet, and they're chummy, sort of. They're back together. Now, again, there's a gigantic gap. I won't go too far into it maybe later, but I think there's some problems with time compression between the 2 episodes. There were deadly enemies in the previous episode. We don't get an explanation why they're actually seemingly, working together. She told, of course, we know she's a famous liar, but in the previous episode, she said, if we beat it, Travis, I shall kill you if we meet again. She said, I won't kill you, Travis. You're not important enough, but I probably will if we meet again. Well, anyway, obviously things have changed a little bit. They seem to be in cahoots right now. Yeah, exactly. Ravenscroft. This is like a gigantic chunk of things that had to happen just between Travis and Servalan alone. Not to mention, well, I can't spoil anything for the next episode, so I won't. But when we get to the next week, I'll get more into that. Suffice it to say, Blake is not happy with almost getting killed, and he's very angry with Avon, and also he's skeptical because Avon, he's my favorite character. He's the greatest. He just wanted to blow the damn ship up. He thought it was a Federation ship. You should blow it up, but he probably shouldn't leave orbit to do it. I think Callie kind of had the point, and he, like Blake says, you don't know that. He said, if Travis was even on the ship, you don't know if he was or not. And of course, we all know he was not. Yeah, Avon's, Blake's not happy with Avon, but he goes back down to the planet to go look for Villa and Jenna. Jenna's the only one getting making progress in the sense that she is using her feminine wiles, because what's his face, quite rightly, the dumbass brute of a Shaw, Gola, fancies her, as my British friends would say. And
the dress didn't hurt either.
Oh well, yeah. He wants to parabond with her and all this stuff, and the sister doesn't want that to happen. Of course, she doesn't like him. She doesn't really like either one of her brothers. One of which Blake ends up saving the life of, and then befriending and teaming up with as they go down into the below the court to go down into the down below where he leaves Blake. I always forget that guy's name too. Damn it. To go get some backups forces. Yes, pair bonding, Max. In the meantime, Blake, Villa gets framed by the former fool, the court jester, for because he hates Villa for taking a spot. He gets framed for something he does not do. Long story, but never mind. Doesn't mean anything. And
he just
Villa,
throws his voice. Yeah.
Yes, he throws his voice. His super ventriloquism. Villa gets brought down to the brought down below. Blake meets him down there. Hello there, Tim's Talk. Welcome, buddy. And in the meantime, of course, Simply Steve's here too. Hey, Simply.
Nice to see you, Simply Steve.
Good to see you, buddy. Let's see. So, in the meantime, there's a pretty nice scene where Serverland and Travis have their little clash, and then Travis somehow talks Serverland into letting him use her ship. After that, he takes off, and while Jenna is doing various things, trying to find out what's going on, and while Blake is waiting for his buddy to bring his forces back down below, and while Villa's down there with him, Avon and Callie notice the ship leaving orbit, and Avon wants to go out and blast this one too. He says he thinks it's Serverland ship. Be sure it is Serverland ship. It's our best chance to get rid of Serverland. Come on, Callie. Callie says, no, not this time. We're not doing it. We're not going to do this again. We almost got Blake killed. You know, it pains me to agree with anybody over Avon, but she kind of had a point.
Yep.
Avon was being a little reckless for him, or maybe just hope Blake would get killed. They could just take the ship. Kidding. But anyway. So, they quarrel, they clash. We may never get her. Just fine with them. We'll never get her. So Callie refuses. They're not happy. They're pretty miffed at each other, and they don't pursue the ship. And guess who gets away? Travis gets away. That leaves the question: what Serverland's going to fly out in? But forget about that for a second. In the midst of basically Jenna wooing the dumbass Shao King guy, she basically got him wrapped around her little finger. She saw him all charmed and stuff. Hard to blame him. Serverland comes out there. I love the scene where she basically says she let you win this game of whatever they were playing because she's actually extremely intelligent and you're a dumbass. And it was pretty cool. And the guy didn't believe Serverland, so he goes, man. So basically, Jenna beat out Serverland for a dude. Look, Serverland's, as we all know, hottie of her own. But the Shall's having none of it. He's into Jenna. Serverland, he'll kill Serverland. He doesn't like her. So anyway, he sends her away, and she's using force of, she's using threats of Federation force against him. He knows that's not good to buck the Federation. Nevertheless, that's that with Serverland. We don't learn anything more about what she's doing, what she knows, what's happening. Nothing. She's gone from the story, and we find out eventually. Well, we don't know what's going on. They're still not sure where Lurgan is. They're still looking for Orr's brain print that was supposed to be hanging around the necklace of a leader in this community. So Golo's brother or whatever comes to fight, challenge him to a fight to the death for the crown, for the throne. And the sister, of course, she's all for it. She really doesn't want either one of them to win. So they have the big fight, but unfortunately, Blake's buddy gets killed. But then, what's her face? The sister, well, basically she poisons what's his face, right? Gola, right?
Yeah.
Why have so much trouble with his name?
Gola.
I've seen it a million times. Ridiculous. Anyway,
just think of Lola. You love Lola. She's a good dog. Lola. Cola.
It worked for me. So, but before that, actually, he does bring Villa back up. Villa's, and sends the fool down. But I forgot that part. Sends the fool down to the dungeon. So they find out, after both those two are dead, the woman, the sister, who of course basically takes over, they're asking where's Lurgan? She says, oh, he's dead or whatever. And well, they didn't understand who was the king, who was the one that had the that had befriended Lurgan in the first place. And she tells them these idiot sons deposed their own father, and he's down rotting in the dungeon, been dungeon down there forever. So they go down, they find him, the old man's dying, he's pretty much kicks off, and the fool sitting there with him, he's just in love with his king. He's sad about him, he's singing songs about him. And then, of course, the old man whispers something in his ear. The fool who knows it's a fool who knows nothing, who knows everything, or something like that. This is a trigger that sets off the fool to recite the exact coordinates of Star 1. It had been put into his mind as a hypnotic suggestion, apparently. And so we know how. By the way, we saw that the brain print had been missing from the other amulet or whatever, because Travis has it. So we know Travis is on the way to Star 1. We don't know where Serverland is at this point, but they have the coordinates. At the end of the episode, they go back up to the Liberator, and basically everyone says, a couple more minutes and I would have left you, Blake. Wow, he is not in a good mood in this episode.
No, he's not. Yeah.
He didn't get to kill Serverland in his mind, even though it wasn't her. He could have taken care of Travis right there. Then he wouldn't have known it, right? Weird. So there you have it. There's my silly all over the place recap of The Keeper. Take over number 1.
Okay,
That
well,
was great
first of
stuff.
all, I would like everyone in the chat to rover you. You need to wake up fresh
Okay.
on the beach, because that was an excellent
Oh.
summary, a wonderful walkthrough, and I love your insights, and so does everyone else. So
Thank you.
stop that, boss.
I'm not capable of stopping it, but thank you anyway.
I know. Anyway, I'm going to force you. So the end. We get a nice opening scene. Of course, you all know that I love the practical effects with the planet and the Liberator. Every time this show opens with something like this, my heart just sings. It's just so wonderful. I love the nifty goth village underground. I think that is just too cool for school. Thoroughly enjoyed it. This is being taken to another place. It's being taken to another world. It's got this 1940s, 1950s movie feel to it, and I really enjoy it. I really enjoy the fact that Villa gets bitch slapped twice, and the bitch slap is actually like Straker quality. So like the first bitch slap that Villa gets, it's like 100%. It is a Straker quality bitch slap. Jenna is cunning, but then as high as a kite. Of course, she's got this. She has taken in the vapors, as they would in ancient Greece, to the seers to try and predict the future. Although she doesn't realize this, and she thinks that the seer is magical. Well, if you've read any Greek mythology, or if you've read any Greek stories, you know that this is the Greek tradition to inhale the vapors and to be the seer. Obviously, you've probably read that in Viking mythology as well, in Viking storytelling. I did write down that there is some quality maniacal laughter coming from the seer. She goes quite nutty, and it's great. I thought that it was quite clever of the author to introduce the brother, because the brother is a dead end. But this is quality writing, because what it's doing is it's involving the viewer and getting their mind moving. So it's not straightforward that the brother just comes in and takes his brother out. In fact, the brother is killed. And so I just think that it is, it's indicative of this show. This show, it can often be very cerebral and very well written. And this is a hallmark of that type of storytelling. Caring about the audience, because everyone knows that the what happens with the brother is, it's hope, but it's hoped dashed. And so I just think that it's just very clever and very thoughtful to give that to the viewer. You don't see that in modern storytelling. You usually see that in books and short stories, but not in a TV show. So the brother is produced. We have hope. Oh my God, Raj, he's got somebody to help him. Is there going to be an epic battle scene? And instead, unfortunately, the brother is killed. All hope is dashed. I really like that Blake nearly falls asleep in the dank dungeon, because let's face it, he would have been waiting there for hours. Again, this is indicative of a very caring author. This caring author is thinking about what it would actually be like to be in a dungeon underneath the ground, exposed to all of this sulfur, and to be waiting around for 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 hours in this dark dungeon. So once again, really terrific storytelling that you don't normally see in the straightforward corporate storytelling apparatus. So it's a great throwback, and it's really indicative of how much of a difference it makes when the audience is communicating with a single person telling a story instead of a writer's room full of corporate nincompoops. The Goth King goes toe-to-toe with Servalan. I love this. She actually has to threaten him. He is not afraid of her. And it really reminds me of Friday's Child. And I just love that it reminds me of Friday's Child, because we have this, these people living in tents, and then we have this upended power struggle, and you have Servalan, who's this woman, and she should know her place, but instead the Goth King, he doesn't give a crap about her and her federation. He's going to put her in her place. He is not afraid of her. I really love the fact that Jenna is savage. Okay, so Jenna would, at this point, you realize that Jenna would sell her soul to the devil if she needed to. I just cannot believe her behavior here, and it is hysterical that she's just savage. I think that this is a really cool spin, the whole story on King Lear. One of my favorite Shakespearean tales. King Lear is just an incredible story. If you have never watched King Lear, you don't have to read it. Shakespeare is not meant to be read unless you're studying it in university, but Shakespeare is meant to be imbibed through stage. So go and see King Lear. It is the most marvelous Shakespearean tale. Anyways, to have this dad sitting down there in the dungeon, his kids have all thrown him in the dungeon, and he was the key. Goth Mama has crazy jackrabbit teeth. Yeah, the goth mother, wow, the jackrabbit teeth, they're just something else. There is no sci-fi here, but there is lots of fun. Now on to part 3. I thought that this was terrific, but it's not science fiction. It was most enjoyable. I gave it a 5 out of 7.
All right. Thank you, number 1. Appreciate that. What about Mark? Are you ready?
Oh yeah, yep.
Go for
I
it.
didn't really like this episode that much. I hope that's okay to say. I thought it was. I appreciate all the atmosphere, but I thought the only thing I really liked was the twist of the fool having the. I thought that was extremely clever. The man who knows nothing knows everything.
Right.
I did really like that riddle, but I just thought the antics of the two brothers and the cackling queen, it just didn't do it for me. I got Jenna in that dress was phenomenal.
Mhm.
That was very distracting. Toxic male speaking here. I'm not really, but I couldn't. The gays, right?
Yes.
Jenna's a lookout, so I don't blame the Gola for that. But I just thought it was just too contrived and too set up. I mean, the characters are always great. Villa had a couple of good moments, but it's just too much of a. I think you could have done this episode in like 15 minutes, then tacked it on to the next episode, or had it as part of another episode. I think, and it doesn't make sense. Like, how does that one? I guess that one person knew where Starbase 1 was. I guess he's the only
Star
one
One.
that. Yeah, Star One. Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah, the Star One. So he knows where it is. But why did he go to this planet? I guess just to.
I
Why
don't
did he
know.
go to this planet and put that knowledge there? It's just so obscure. It
Well, he
doesn't
was
make sense.
hiding, so that I could say for sure.
Yeah, unless someone was
Like
someone
Dockley,
was-
they were on the run and hiding, but yeah.
they were hiding, and then
Yeah.
yeah. How did Serverland Travis and Max Redstone asked this in the chat know that the Liberator crew, how did they know of this Brain Prince existence? How did
Well,
was
if
there
you-
something that we missed or?
remember, Travis was there on the dock when Dockley told Blake the info. He could have been in the back listening because he was there.
Okay, so that's a good explanation for it. Yeah. So Max,
I know
was
they
asking that.
one of those even in like some of those like that page you're talking about the wiki and other ones they say how did they know about it? Well, the only thing I've ever been able to surmise is remember Travis was there
Okay.
during the thing. Now the minutes look like he's in that scene when they're talking. Well, he wasn't in the shot, Max, but remember he was there right before that. He could have been behind something listening. That they don't say he ran off. Remember,
Or he could have
they
put a
just-
listening device on the guy that you don't
Well,
know
I mean-
about, maybe.
Well, why
I'm
would a
just saying-
listening device be necessary since he comes out from behind the tent
he
and
was at-
enters the room?
yeah.
Like
He
the
was-
Goth King is in a tent. They all
no,
are. So
no,
they're
we're talking
underground.
about the previous episode.
Oh, in the previous episode,
But
yeah.
remember, he's not in the shot when Dockley tells Blake, but it doesn't
Yeah.
mean he left either.
That's a good point. Yeah, I didn't think
It's
of
true.
that. So that was just it just seemed a little contrived, but it's okay. I mean,
And
it's
that's
okay. It
assuming-
doesn't.
That's
Yeah.
assuming he hadn't already told Travis.
Yeah, he might have
Mhm.
also told Travis. Yeah,
hmm
it just it just didn't really do it for me. But although there are some good, like few good, always great Avon lines, and of course Avon, God, he was in a bad mood, and then of course they go to take out Travis's ship. And it will be gone in 10 minutes. So I like that part. And then Blake is, beam us, teleport us out. So they're good moments. But I just thought the antics in the King's tent, shall we say, Gola's antics were just, I don't know, just maybe it's the acting, but in the long run, not a lot really happens in this
Tex.
episode. Good night,
Good night,
Tex. Yep.
Tex. Good to see you, buddy.
Good night, Tex. I'm so happy that you enjoyed the book. Would you please leave a review, but only if you have time to do that? And I also didn't have a chance to say goodnight to Penny. Penny, sleep sweet. Thank you for tuning into Clobbering Times and making us a regular part of your listening. You're
good
the
night,
best.
Penny.
Good night.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
Mark.
Yep.
Go ahead, Mark.
No, all good. Yep. So for me, it was one of the episodes I least like, but they're all doesn't mean I wouldn't watch it again. I mean, Blake 7 has such a high bar. I think my least favorite episode is the one where they go to the planet with the little creatures on the
web.
third or fourth, the web. Yeah, the web. Yep.
A lot of people would agree with that, but
Yeah. I mean, there's good parts of it too, but the characters are so well done, and of course, I can't say anything because there's no spoilers here other than this episode. But you're not going to want to miss next week's episode. I guess I can say that, right? I mean,
you can.
But, I can, right? Yeah. So
And I'd agree.
there's some really. That's what I said in my watch party. I said there's some really really amazing stuff coming up. Minor spoiler on,
Well, yeah.
on how I liked it. Yeah.
Well, you and I are not far off because I have this episode ranked all the way down at number 43 out of the 52. I've rated it. I rated it out of 7. I give it 2.104, like 2 1/4. So a little over 2.5, basically. It has some good and interesting bits, some good character moments. I like the Serverland Travis bit, the Serverland Jenna bit. That's a rare thing you don't see much. I like
Yep.
that. I liked some of the stuff with Avon and Callie, although I thought Avon was really not thinking things very clearly through there. Some of the stuff with Phil was actually kind of funny. I agree with you about the part with it was kind of an interesting idea what they did with the brain print with the fool and stuff. But for the most part, you needed it. It's a necessary episode to fill in the blanks. It could have been done far better, though. I think it was kind of. I just felt it's not really my kind of Blake 7 in the sense that it's necessary to fill the gap between Gambit and Star 1. You could have done it better, but it got the job done and had some interesting stuff in it. But it always felt a little bit like filler to me. It's not one of those ones when I go back and watch certain episodes over and over and over again, like Star 1 or Gambit, for example. I only ever watch it when I'm doing if I'm doing a binge every now and then when I decide to watch them all in order.
Yeah,
there would never be one I would single out and watch it over and over again like I would many other episodes. So that said, I don't hate it.
You wouldn't watch this one over and over. Yeah, you would.
No, I wouldn't move on. I wouldn't hate it either. Like I said, it's got still it's a Blake 7, and Blake 7 is Blake 7, and there's good stuff. Good cool stuff in there, but it's not one of my favorites. Not particularly solid. But it's a step to what we're about to get to. Oh my goodness, we could Star 1 coming up, baby. So anyway, so yes, I have it rated at
2 5/8.
I ranked at 43 and I have it 2 1/4, which is
2 1/4.
Silly, right? 2
2
2 1/4 basically.
2 1/4. Yep. So
Yes,
what number was it? I'm putting my show notes in.
Mm-hmm.
Number 41 over
number 43.
Number 43. Yep. And 2 1/4. I gave it 3 stars. And I had written that down. Yeah. So
okie dokie.
And what did Raquel? What did you have it? How many stars did you have it? You had it at 5?
Yeah, I think it's a 5 out of
5.
7. I did say it's not science fiction, but I like the storytelling, and
you enjoyed a lot of the character interactions. Yeah,
it's very reminiscent of Greek mythology, and I love classics, and we've got a little
brothers
bit of
fighting
in there, and the tents underground and stuff. I like that sort of thing.
Indeed. Well, nothing wrong with it at all. Like I said, I never said I hated it. But, okay, so. Let us read reviews from our friends. We have our 2 reviewers that are here every week, and we certainly appreciated them. Raven and Max. There we go. Ravenscroft says he gives it 4.5 Avon's. I guess 4.5. Okay. He said oddly weak penultimate episode. Blake gets the location of Star 1, but getting there is a slow and strained affair. No memorable guest characters and more Vikings in space. Yeah, they do that once in a while with the Vikings in space, don't they?
Yeah.
Some good bits. I think it means Villa and the Fool competing. Yes, Jenna and Serverland playing a chess game, and the creepy Fool reveal at the end. Yes, I understand absolutely. Also enjoyed the power struggle between Callie and Avon, with Avon seeking Travis's blood and Callie pushing caution, which wish they'd have always given her and Jenna the backbone she has here. I always think Jenna and Callie, I mean, they have some problems once in a while, but I think they are pretty well provided for. The character of Callie, whom I love, they kind of change her a little bit, or they did after a while. Serverland at her serpentine best worst, manipulating everyone and modeling a catwalk outfit in doing so. I miss her old uniform. This stuff is hotter, but always took me out of the drama. She is a fashion queen. Seems like a quiet before the storm, and what a storm it ends up being. No spoilers, but boy, do I love the next one. Yes, indeed. He said, I always assumed he told Travis already, but it is a bit of an oversight. Yeah, they should have been. It's one of those things they should have and this has happened before, handled more clearly. Why? They didn't answer that question. We don't know why all of a sudden, after that last one, we don't know why Serverland and Travis are back working together even in secret like that because of their confrontation in the previous episode, Gambit. So that's a little different. A whole lot of more time, especially when we see next week, will be needed between this one and the next one. But between this one and Gambit, there should have been a lot more time passing. And maybe there was, but but when this episode opens on the Liberator, they're all acting like they just, walked in from the teleport after Gambit. And maybe they should have let that breathe a little bit. So, are we ready for Max's review? Maximum.
Good evening, Mrs. Martin Muses. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello.
Well, hello there, Mrs. Martin Muses. Welcome. Good to see you. Let's see here. Raquel liked Jenna's dress. Did you? That's what he said. Max said.
No.
Did not
you didn't like it?
No, I'm not into it. I like the way Servalan was dressed. Give me the furs.
Max Redstone.
I mean, I think that Jenna's chesticles looked fabulous, but no, she looks like she's ready to go to the Renaissance Fair. Give me the furs. I want the furs.
She was at a Renaissance
She
fair.
was at a Renaissance fair, right? Yeah.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, you're in a dank, dungeon underground in a tent with a bunch of goths. Yeah, give me the furs. What do I need with no. I'll tuck my chesticles into a fur coat. Thank you.
I prefer leather. I prefer her outfit right there, to be honest. I don't really care for the
Yeah. And then the outfit she's wearing
oh my
before
God.
she changes to the dress was gorgeous too. That leather outfit. Had she worn that before, or maybe
Yes.
a couple times? Yeah. That's a
sure.
better.
Max Redstone.
I'm raising my score of the episode. No, just kidding. Sorry.
We can review this one now, right? With Max. Boy, Max is going to smack you. No, I'm just
Yes. Yeah.
kidding. Now can Max review it? Max, are you ready? I'm just seriously. I'm just go ahead. I was just messing with you.
That's all right. Yeah.
Are you there?
No, I'm here. Yeah. No, I was just joking. I was saying, I would raise my review because of Jenna's outfit. Yep.
All right. Max says 4 out of 7. Rank 33rd. Wow. The conjunction junction. The conjunction junction episode. Its purpose is to tie the loose ends to the finale and the search for Star One. There goes Avon, showing he's smarter and wiser than Blake.
Agreed, Max. I totally agree. I just know that part 3 is coming, so I wasn't bothered about the way the story was told.
Yep, understood. Why destroy control when you could utilize it? No, we didn't touch on that. That was they started that argument.
Yep.
Avon did.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was an interesting, but yes. Well, we should destroy this. Blake is afraid that much power would corrupt him. He says that much power would corrupt any man. So, was it Villa said? He says, well, I could be president. And Avon was like, we could take it in turns. And why not kill Travis when the opportunity presents itself? There's no question that Avon, no question that Avon of who the stronger leader. Yep, he didn't know that it was Travis for sure. He just thinking it was his ship. So why not teleport Blake, Jenna, and Villa back? Go kill Travis and restart the mission. Oh, well, I'm sure nothing will happen in the 10 minutes that Avon and Callie will go off station. Yeah, absolutely nothing. What could go wrong? What, you know what I mean? That never happens.
Right? Yeah.
They're a crude lot on Goth. That was a quote from the previous episode by Dockley. But they have grenade launchers and quite a bit of style. Oh my God, Travis has a friend. Wait a second. How the hell did Travis and Serverland get the info on Lurgan? Well, they got it. And again, they acted like Travis and both of them have been there for a long time. So a lot of time had to transpire between the Gambit and the Keeper. Blake seems grumpy, even resentful about Travis. Is it that Travis is gone or that Avon got to do it? Now, He had a chance to kill Travis twice so far. At minimum twice. Jenna is sexier than ever as the warrior queen. Her feminine wiles are well used. True that. And we can see that she is a survivor. I do kind of love the girl time between Jenna and Tara and Serverland. Tara was a value add to the story. Has Serverland met her match in Gola?
Good evening, Blunt Philly Reviews. It's too hard to say Blunt Plunk Reviews.
Yes, Blunt Plunk Reviews.
Blunt Plunk. Blunt Plunk Reviews.
Greetings, sir. You have to go to you've got to love Villa's sleight of hand and of voice. Oh my, everything does seem to have the vapors. The vapors. The Gola Rod fight is Deus Machina, but is well played.
How? Explain.
I don't.
How?
I just read it. I don't know.
I know, but like, explain
you'll
that.
have to tell us. Yeah,
Can we go back? Because how do you see God in the machine here?
Can we go? I already got rid of the stars.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, sorry.
But no, but he could. No, Max will elaborate. I'm sure. Max, please do so.
Dead Man Clan.
Dad Man, what's
Dad
up,
Man.
buddy? Hey, Dad Man. Welcome, sir. Hope you're doing well. Long live the Charlotte. Huh? I wonder where Lurgan got to anyway. Who cares? On to Star One. Located at coordinates C17320 in the 11th sector. Thank you. Okay. Stop the location of Star One as coordinates C17321 in the 11th sector. Star One is located at coordinates C. Okay. I can't sing it the way that guy did.
Yeah.
It goes without saying how much I love Bruce Purchase. Moons of Madness. He is great, but he's way. He looks so different in this. He looks so different in this, dude. So let's see. There he is. The Deus Machina is also defined as an unexpected, artificial, or improbable character, device, or event introduced suddenly in a work of fiction or drama to resolve a situation or untangle a plot.
Yeah, in literary theory, but it actually literally means God in the machine. So so it's an expression of resolution, instant resolution. So Clobby took that down, but what is your assertion? What was the instantaneous unexpected godlike resolution? I have no idea.
He said it was.
Just curious.
He said it also means unexpected, artificial, or improbable character device.
Yeah.
So non.
Oh, maybe he's referring to the fool having the information in his head. That's just a guess on my part, but just
no. I think he's talking about the fight. The brother showing up.
Fight. Oh, the brother showing up
was an unexpected plot device.
Oh, the Gola Rod fight. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm going back in time.
Again, other than that, I'm not.
Yeah.
Jenna and Villa were entangled in Gola and the tents of Dos.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I agree.
Okay.
Sorry.
I do have a couple of show notes that
okay.
We'll take. I could read lickety split, and that was a really bad pun. But this is the wiki page for the keeper. So, and if anyone sees any mistakes on this wiki page, I've already edited a few typos and things. Feel free. Go at it. Yep. So, a couple of quick notes. Hopefully they won't overlap Raquel's. But this is the only episode in which Travis interacts with the Liberator crew without meeting Blake. There was no Aurak in this episode. Sally Kinnett's Jenna's leather trousers split while filming the scene where Jenna is captured by the Goths. So that's what I meant, lickety split. Yep. So I was asked to make sure I got that in there. The story was not the original one that had been planned, which was to have been the first of a two-part story penned by Terry Nation, in which both Jenna and Villa would have been killed off.
Captain
Because
Kennedy.
Hey, Kevin Finney, because of other commitments, Nation was not able to deliver, and so Alan Pryor was commissioned to write something original instead. The Goths, in particular, their hair, helmets, and clothing were modeled after Viking warriors. This episode had 7 million viewers in the ratings, which is pretty amazing. And it was broadcast on March 27th, 1979 on the BBC. And let's see. Oh, Travis Ship destroyed here was acquired in trial, which establishes his status as a Federation fugitive. So that's a quick show notes there from the wiki, which is a pretty good wiki for Blake 7. Not, you don't get as much information as Star Trek, but it's nice that the fans are giving us some good stuff there. Yep.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Yeah, Captain Infinity. It's not just in classical Greek theater. People say the Deus ex machina or whatever. My Latin is terrible. I don't speak Latin. In fact, fewer than 100 people in the world speak Latin, which is quite scary for the Catholic Church because they need people who can speak Latin. I mean to say that saying is actually a translation from Greece. The original is Greek, and it literally means God in the machine or God from the machine. And when they say from, they mean like from the story, right? So it's like, yeah, anyways, that is what it means, right? It's God solves all of the problems of the story, or yeah. And yes, of course, it's expanded to, include like an event or a person that resolves everything for everyone. And that's fine. But I don't think the brother does that. I think that the brother is introduced and we're like, oh, okay, we need a hero. This hero is going to come along and he's going to help Blake, and together they're gonna slay the bad guys. And here we think, oh, he's got a partner in crime. There's going to be a big war here as Blake and this Goth's brother struggle for power, and that doesn't happen. Unfortunately, he's slayed, and you're like, what? How? Why? Okay, so we had all this hope that he was going to help Blake, and then as it turns out, he doesn't get to help Blake at all. So I thought it was clever, and I don't think that it solves or resolves the entire plot in itself, and it certainly isn't an example of God in the machine. And when I say that, I mean the true origin of God in the machine, which is from Greek, not from Latin. Yeah. Anyway, that's that. Anyway.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, but I guess it's modern and it's kind of morphed into mean something else than it did originally, I guess, to God in the Machine, right? Because you said literally it was when they had in the stage, right? They had actors playing gods and they used machines to like on the stage, right? To raise them up and down. So, but it's kind of morphed, I think, into something kind of.
Yeah. So, but that's what I mean.
Like
that's what I mean.
Modern times, it's evolved, I guess, right? Yeah.
Right, but that's what I mean by the preposition. So in literary theory, you have to be very careful with the preposition in this case, because now the people are interpreting it as a complete resolution, a completely improbable resolution of the biggest problem in the story, and I just don't think that the brother does that here. That's why I always hesitate to talk about literary theory when I'm on these YouTube shows, because I think that sometimes people stretch the meaning of literary theory terms, and they apply them in a sense in which I don't think that they could meet an academic test. I don't think they could beat an academic test. And auditioning the idea that the brother is the God in the machine or the God from the machine in this story. As I don't think
Yeah.
there's any.
Well, you could say it's maybe a convenient thing, but not a God in the machine. But it's a little.
Well, I don't think it's even a convenient thing.
You don't even think
actually.
it's convenient? Okay.
No, I think it was very clever, because it's like
Okay.
you happen upon this scene where there's a family at war. It's a little bit like King Lear. You're wondering, which of the siblings are going to be the good guys, and which will be the bad guys, and you have this hope that Raj Blake is going to have this person to help him sort of crack what's going on in these tents with this family, and
Yeah.
crack the mystery, and get the tool that he needs to break the back of the Federation. And instead, in the confrontation, he's mercilessly killed by his own brother. So
Right, yeah.
I don't
Okay.
think there
No, I
is
get
any.
that. Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Like I just don't
No,
think
yeah.
there's, academically or intellectually, I just don't think there's any support for that. The brother doesn't solve everything.
And of course, Gola, if he had been immune to iocane powder, he would have lived. But sorry, I couldn't help but throw in a Bad Princess Bride reference there, because that was a good twist there with the poison. And I did like the mechanism of the combat where they had their arms, tied together with those with the
With those
chains,
like maces.
maces or whatever you'd call them. Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah.
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 For me, like that wasn't like, the bringing in this literary theory of God in the machine, or God from the machine, and we're going to
Yeah.
solve this whole thing with the brother. No, that didn't occur at all. For me, it was like, oh my God, this is going to go Shakespearean. Now we have all of these siblings, and now they're going to come out of the woodwork, and now these two brothers are going to go at it, and one is just going to kill the other without any thought, without like he doesn't even hesitate to
Right, yeah.
murder his own brother. It's very reminiscent for me of King Lear, where you have these kids that are just after power, and so they're trying to work against one another, and ultimately expel their father. And Cordelia it finds her father, and she's the only one who can even show even a tiny bit of compassion for her dad, and he's out in the wilderness starving to death, and is being lashed by wind and weather, and here he thought he chose the right children, and he didn't choose the right children at all. So for me, I just think that if we're going to introduce some literary theory here, and we're going to start doing some comparative literature, that we recognize the things that are being introduced to the story. Does that make sense?
No, yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, it's always good to learn stuff, right? So, yep, always interesting. Yep.
Learn?
But you hear that
Learn. Oh, I did that once. It was an
did
accident.
that one too. Yeah. But you
I
hear
learned
a lot of
something one
terms
time,
thrown
yeah.
around. You learned one time.
Well, it was an accident. I didn't mean to.
You didn't
Well,
mean-
but it's very important to realize this, because I just think that people throw that word around too much. I don't mean Max. I love Max very much, and I don't mean to admonish him. That's not what I'm trying to do at all. It's just you hear people throwing this Latin term around that's not actually a Latin term. It's a Greek term, and it really is these stage actors performing a tragedy, and something horrific befalls the protagonist, and there's no way out, and then one of the gods come to save the protagonist, because the protagonist is learned their lesson, or they need the help of the god. And then later, of course, people begin to refer to this God in the machine as an artificial or contrived way to completely resolve all of the problems of the work, of the play, of the story, of whatever, you know what I mean, the story or the play. And yeah, so anyways, that's what that term actually means. It's God in the machine. And so that's what I mean about the preposition. So you have God in the machine, So literally, like in the machine of the story, you lower the machine of God into the story, and the gods save the protagonist. And then later,
That's the convenient part, I guess, right? In that term.
exactly. And then later you sort of adopt this sort of idea where there's sort of an accumulative connotation that the machine is the story, and then this contrived device comes in and solves the whole problem of the story, and it can be a person, or it can be an event, and it resolves things. But it's important to remember the original meaning and to use that term correctly. Anyway, that's all I have to say, and I'm just going to be quiet now.
Oh, thank you for that. Yep.
What? What? Okay. Oh, hey, Claude Solly. Hey there. Good to see you.
Oh, there's Silverland with her fur. Yep. She did look good in that. Well, she always looks good. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh God, thank you, Captain Infinity. Sometimes I just want to take all my words back and shove them back into my face. I'm so sorry, Captain. Thank you so much, Captain Infinity.
Well, if you did that, then Captain Infinity wouldn't tune in. You think he'd tune in for me and Mark? He
no,
does.
not
teasing.
for us. Yeah.
I'm teasing Captain Infinity. He does. Good to see you there, Cap. All right. So, well, have we finished on Blake 7's episode, The Keeper?
I think so, right? Yeah.
Number one.
We're going to switch to Night Stalker slideshow.
I really just need to not talk anymore. Yeah, I'm good with this.
No, don't say that.
Why?
It's interesting to hear. Yeah. So it's what makes you fun to listen to on YouTube, right?
If you don't talk, you can't tell us what you think about Blake 7 or Night Stalker. You can sign it if you want to, but I don't think we can see it.
Yeah,
and I just earned 3 college credits, so I mean I'm saving me money.
Oh dear. Everyone loves it. What do you think? They keep talking. They keep the conversation going. All right. Well, I'm ready when you is.
Okay. The first thing that I just want to say is that Michael and Cassandra Beacom, they have this book called The Night Stalker Companion. And each and every week they send me a scanned copy of the synopsis. And so in order to stay copyright compliant, and also to say my many thanks to Michael and Cassandra Beacom, tonight's synopsis will be brought to you by Michael and Cassandra Beacom. It is episode 5, The Werewolf. Original air date November 1st, 1974. It was written by David Chase and Paul Playden. Directed by Alan Barron. Music by Jerry Fielding. Director of photography Ronald Brown. And art director Raymond Beal. This is from page 136. Let's do it, folks. Kolchak, The Night Stalker, The Werewolf. Chicago is in the grips of a terrible snowstorm, but spirits are high at the INS Christmas party. Editor Tonio Vincenzo, am I saying that right?
I think so.
I'm terrible. My Italian is worse than my Latin, which is actually worse than my French, and is atrocious next to my Japanese. Is about to leave on his first vacation in 5 years. He's going to take the last voyage of the good ship Hanover, which will head for the scrap heap after a final swinging singles cruise. To further improve the normally gruff editor's mood, the company has agreed to underwrite the vacation. A few stories will take care of Tony's INS obligation. In the middle of singing Yuletide favorites, the INS employees have little interest in the news item out of Montana. Earlier in the month, a family of 4 was found slaughtered. The coroner concluded that the family was attacked by wolves, even though no wolf had been spotted in the area since 1948. Despite the wolves' nasty reputation, in the entire history of North America, there is not one documented case of a wolf attacking and killing a human being. These gruesome slayings couldn't be farther away from the glad tidings in the INS newsroom, but Tony is about to be attacked by a different type of wolf pack. The INS auditors are on their way to Chicago, and vacation plans are not. He must be there to go over the books. With most of the staff fighting the flu bug, Tony has no choice. He sends Carl Kolchak on the last cruise of the SS Hanover. Tony, what does SS stand for again? I know what it means, but I forget. For a ship?
Oh yeah, what does it stand for?
I know what it is, but I just have stream brain. Anyway,
Someone
Tony
will tell us in the
warns
chat.
Carl
We got a great
to
chat.
Someone
Yeah,
say Cam.
Cam.
Remember for Camp Rush, of course.
Oh,
Became
became a
YouTube
YouTube member.
Just became a
Thank you.
member.
Yeah,
Thank
I love
you.
that human. Thanks, Cam.
Oh,
It's good to see
thank
you.
you.
Oh,
Thank you, Cam.
Steamship.
Steamship. Okay.
Um,
This one's for you, sir.
No bloody A, B, C, or D.
Thank you so much for becoming a member, my friend. Appreciate it. Good to see you.
But SS Minnow, that Minnow didn't have a steam engine. Just being a wise guy. Just kidding.
I don't
Oh, wow.
I don't know. I didn't even think that it was steamship. I thought it was something else, but maybe I just have stream brain. Anyways, continuing on, Tony warns Carl to stick to happy nostalgia and the single scene. But then again, what could go wrong on the grand old luxury liner? Well, when the first moon appears, so does a werewolf. A woman is brutally mauled, and then 3 crewmen are found torn apart on the bridge. Afraid the panic will spread to the passengers, Captain Wells does everything in his power to keep Kolchak away from the facts. Meanwhile, swinging simpleton Mark Tartar introduces Kolchak to movie nut Paula Griffin. Mel thinks that Carl's name is Cal, and that term for the press is the fifth column, not the fourth estate. Paula is a wealth of movie trivia, including How to Kill a Werewolf, A Silver Bullet, of course. And I think that's it. There's a little bit more of a blurb here, but I don't think it's attached, but I'm going to read it anyway. Paula is more than willing to help Carl slip past Captain Wells, who is threatening to toss the reporter in irons. That's not how you use that word. Anyway, place the reporter in irons, maybe toss him overboard. Anyway, Kolchak manages to fashion a proper bullet by borrowing the silver buttons off the captain's dress uniform. He is able to slip by the crew members and manages to come face to snout with the werewolf. The lycanthrope, by the way, is Bernhard Stieglitz, a NATO officer once stationed in Montana. And that is all the Night Stalker companion has to say about the werewolf. Once again, I would just like to thank Michael and Cassandra Beacom for taking time out of their day to scan that for us, because you know what? It makes the show better. And I just really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah.
And Ravenscroft, thank you for that. That's very kind of you to say. Yeah, as an academic, sometimes I seem hesitant or unsure, and that's because I guess after being in university for a really long time, I really like to take out the OED, or I really like to take out the literary reference term dictionary and really discuss whether or not something meets that test, or if we're using the real definition, or if there's a cumulative connotation. And I think that a lot of people are more comfortable just freewheeling it and just, saying what they think and throwing the terms around. And I'm a little bit more hesitant because when I use a term or when I say something, I want to make sure that it can meet the literary or the scholarly standard for what that is. And I'm sure it's incredibly annoying to normal people. And thank you for indulging me. Anyway, John Platt. Good evening, John.
Hey, welcome, John.
And no, what was Max Redstone setting out?
Oh, Max.
Oh, good night, Max. I hope you had fun.
Thank you. Yep. Don't take a 3-hour cruise on a steamship.
And if you do, bring silver bullets. And Brogu, I love you very much.
All
I
right,
always
Max,
formed
be
it
good,
with
buddy.
words.
Have a good one, man.
stuff. And how did the werewolf escape from Colossus? That's what I
Yep.
wanted to know.
Yep. Colossus the Foreman. He's not only Dr. Hassline and Dr. Colossus. You're kidding. Dr. Foreman, I mean, from
Yeah,
Dr. Colossus the Foreman Project. Yeah. Eric Braden is still with us, by the way.
Yeah, I guess he's speaking in his native accent, I guess, in this episode, because when I first watched it again, I was shocked. I'm like, wait, he didn't. Then I read, then I love, clicking on IMDb, and he was actually born in Germany. So
Oh,
that was his actual probably accent,
Yeah.
I'm assuming. Yeah. But he did such a great, accent in the movie, you'd never hear it. I'm always amazed. Usually us Yanks, we can't get our accents right, but British actors and other people, other countries seem to really be able to nail that American accent. Not always, but most of the time. Like, the character of Lucy in Fallout, I saw in an interview and she's speaking with a British accent. I'm like, how'd that happen? You'd never know. Yeah.
Charlie Cox is a very thick British accent. He's great as Daredevil. You wouldn't have never known it.
I used to play euchre. I don't know if you know what euchre is, but it's this card game that they play in Eastern Canada. And it is a very enjoyable game, although I believe quite esoteric, known by very few people, except for regionally. I used to play this game with an aged woman who, she was all alone. And she used to watch a show called The Young and the Restless, and absolutely hated whenever I would go over, she was watching this show. And then when we would start to play euchre, she would be looking over my shoulder at the television watching this Young and the Restless show. And that this actor, this guy, he was in that show.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Not that I watch soap operas. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
I used to visit a senior citizen and play cards with her so she wasn't lonely. And so I heard that voice. And so when I was watching this episode, I looked up at the TV and I was like, oh my God, is that the weird guy from the soap opera? And I think it is.
Wow. Huh. Dang. Well, there you go, Mark.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I mean, I didn't think this was a great episode. Of course, it's got its moments, and Kolchak, like just like Blake 7, even if there's an episode you don't think is as great as up to snuff or maybe average, the characters are so well done and the actors are so well done. So Kolchak is just such a great character, and arguing with Vincento, and he gets to go on and take his vacation, I guess, because corporate is coming into town, so he's got to deal with them, the mucky mucks. So he gets to go on the ship, and of course that's the Queen Mary. That's I think it's the last trip. We were talking last night in the watch party. I think it was 67 or 68. Really, really, really incredibly long time ago, 1968. Yeah. And so the ship has been docked there, and I've been on that ship on Long Beach.
That's just because of the candles on your birthday cake, Mark.
Yeah, there's too many candles now. Yeah,
sorry about that.
That's okay. Yeah, that's what I was referencing. My the year I was born. Yeah, whenever that was, they were talking about one of the hockey teams hadn't won since 1967, and one of the announcers like, "Oh my God, that's a long time ago." I'm like, "Believe you," but anyway, yeah. So I've been to that ship at Long Beach with the family, and they have ghost parties there, or ghost tours, and
okay.
that swimming pool. I went down to that swimming pool, and it's just it's a time traveling. You see how it was, and the pool. Today you've got all these pools on deck, and the rides on deck. And but it's really, really amazing. It's takes you back in time. When my dad came over to America, to the States, I should say,
Right.
in 58 or 59 on the Queen Elizabeth, which is a sister ship. So basically the same thing. But it's not designed with the kind of the luxury we think of today, but it's very elegant, and the wood paneling, and but it's very dark, and that's where they say all the ghosts are on the tour. The ghosts are in that swimming pool down there. So you know, it was really fun to visit. And if you have a chance to, you know, get out to Long Beach, you know, check it out. And I recognized a couple of the you know, places on the ship, you know, from them filming it. And of course I guess they filmed it at night, so it was much easier for them. You know, there's no one. I guess I think maybe at one point it was a hotel, but it was just really cool to you know, to see those shots, and brings you back to a different time. You know, when you go to those dining halls and the grand salon and things like that. So we did have dinner there, so it was pretty. It was a fun day trip. But yeah, I think it's a little bit, you know, the werewolf makeup, you know, wasn't wasn't the best, but they kind of try to minimize that by not showing the werewolf except when they freeze on his face, you know, Eric Braden. Yeah, it's just you know, not well done. Of course, they don't have a huge budget here, but a lot of great you know, co-stars or cast members on this trip. Quite a you know, if you read the synopsis that Michael Beacom sent us, but there's a lot of people that played a lot of different like Captain Wells. Was Henry Jones has been, you know, in a million different things. Vertigo, Butch Cassidy, very well known character. And Bob Hastings was on McHale's Navy.
That's not all he was.
Yeah, but yeah, one of them. Yeah, one of them. What else was he?
Not only was he the voice of Superboy in the old Filmation cartoons, he's the voice of Commissioner Gordon on Batman the Animated Series. Bob Hastings.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yep. That's yep. Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was fun. It was, you know, a fun episode, but it wasn't great. There wasn't as much suspense, I guess. And I was, the one thing that really impressed me is how did Kolchak not lose his straw hat when he was hanging overboard?
It's like Indiana Jones never loses his hat.
He never loses his hat, right? Yeah, which is awesome.
It's stapled to his head.
Yes,
it's stapled to his head.
It's stapled to his head.
But he's in good shape too, Kolchak. I mean, he's jumping all over the ship. He's almost gets thrown over. He fights.
Yeah, everyone in the 70s smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day, so they all looked older than your grandma, but they were actually quite young. That's the thing about the 70s.
Yeah. And I don't know how he made those silver bullets that can be. I mean, silver's got a much higher melting point than lead. I don't know if that little torch, I don't know if it would hit enough, but you know, it's just one of the, you know, you just ignore it. But I'm like, how did he melt that? You know, but it was just fun. The bursar who's got everything, or what do you call him? The captain's, you know, he steals the captain's button, but the guy that, you know, is able to get the valet, I guess. I'm not sure what you would call him, but he's got you know, whatever you want on the ship, I can get you. And, you know, so those were fun moments. And I guess, God, that crew is heavily armed on that ship. There were guns flying everywhere. I'm like, they make an announcement like, everyone stay in your cabins. We have a werewolf on the loose. And of course, the classic, you know, the story is squelched. And then they send the poor people off to Switzerland that got bitten by the werewolf. So I guess they're getting, they're living on a cheese.
They're getting treatment for a rare blood disorder.
Yeah. So what does that mean? They're locked up and stuck on Swiss cheese for life, or
that's pretty much
can you, right? Because you can't cure being there's no way to cure it. Well, not that we know of. You can't cure cure a werewolf, right? I don't know, but yeah. Oh, and then Michael Beekman said, I must admit that Eric Bray did not seem to be clearly committed as a werewolf. Also, network standards would only let him throw people over railings. Oh, yeah, I guess that's right. Back in the day, yeah, you couldn't have Kolchak throwing.
Kolchak basically threw him off.
Yeah, or he kind of let him. Was holding on him for a second, then he let him go.
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
Yeah, he
I have had enough of you.
Right into the drink.
Right.
Okay,
the
bye. Fun stuff with the single stuff, that was funny. The guy in the cabin, when he comes in, he's sharing a cabin. I guess I can only imagine back then. I guess like today,
he was weird. He divorced his wife so that they could be swinging singles.
That was,
and then they spent the whole time together.
Yeah, I was laughing at that.
Yeah, that was Dick Gaucher who played Jaime the Robot on Get Smart and a lot of other states and a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
that guy was always a weenie. This is always a silly actor.
He always played like a silly, yeah. I was just laughing at that. That was hysterical. I was like, what's going on here? Yeah. So, but yeah, so I'd probably give it, if we're going, I give it like a C plus B minus kind of rating. It wasn't,
You're
but I
so
didn't.
tough.
I am tough. Have I turned into a tough tough in my ratings now that I'm getting old?
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't. It just seemed a little predictable to me. But I did love Kolchak, and I did love some of the interactions. So I'll give it B minus. Yeah.
Yeah, you upped it. Joe Dog,
Yeah.
what's up, buddy?
Oh.
I've always enjoyed this
Oh,
one.
Fall Guy.
What?
Oh, sorry. Joe Dog says he's back from the Fall Guy. Oh, it was okay.
Well, you should see my buddy J Man's review, but he hated it. Said it was horrible. J Man hated the Fall Guy.
I'm hoping it was awesome.
But Joe Dog said it was okay. So there you go. We have two different reviews there. Boy, I mean, you know, J Man, he loves everything, man. I always tease him about being way too soft
Highlander
on
2.
stuff.
Yeah.
Case in point. So I mean, and I watched this review. Of course, probably wasn't going to go out of my way to watch it anyway. I like the old show. This thing has very little to do with it, but he taught. I mean, if I had been planning, he probably talked me out of it. But not that I wouldn't watch it at some point, but I have no interest in it anyway. But anyway, Joe Dog thought it was okay. So there you go.
I have to interrupt, even though it's super rude, because our great friend Ravenscroft, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and thank you for the wonderful conversation and your incredibly kind comments. I've enjoyed your company immensely. I hope you had a wonderful time tonight.
Thank you, Ravenscroft.
We'll see you soon. Good night.
Absolutely.
Take care.
I didn't realize we had a super chat. I'm sorry, Michael Beacom. I didn't see it. I was looking at some of the actor credits. Apologize that. Michael Beacom, thank you for the super chat, my friend. He says, Eric Braden, real name Hans Gudgost. Gudgost.
Oh.
My all-time favorite character actor. He was I loved him in Escape from the Planet of the Apes and Colossus the Forbidden Project. And this one, he didn't really try that hard. You can tell he was. Can
I ask a question? How come Michael Beacom's super chat didn't appear in the top on the tab where it's supposed to?
Yeah, that's weird.
It was in the start.
Yeah, but it wasn't on. It wasn't on the tab.
Oh, I wouldn't have seen it if I hadn't gone to my starred comments.
Yeah, that's very weird because usually when anyone gives you a super chat,
it goes to the top. Yeah,
it goes to the top, and then it actually has an expiry window where you are.
Oh, I don't know. I know what you're talking about. No, I don't know.
Okay, well, it didn't appear
on
there.
The YouTube side. It does on the YouTube. Yeah, because I missed it too. I didn't see it.
It's because it wasn't there, Mark. Michael, I'm so sorry that happened to you, sweetheart.
But I saw it in my start at least. Sentai Ranger Donnie. What's up, Donnie?
Don Power Ranger.
There you go, buddy. Let's see. But Michael said, was it? They probably called the movie Fall Guy because the stuntman was already taken. Yes, it was by one of your favorite films. Yep. Peter O'Toole, Steve Railsback. I remember it well. They probably called it movie Fall. Oh yeah, it's in there twice. Weird. Anyway, so I like this one too. I thought that even back then when I was a kid, I thought the werewolf stuff was a little kind of hokey with him just throwing people around. That's been a common. Every episode of Kolchak has at least one scene of a super powerful being throwing a bunch of cops, or in this case, sailors around. Every single one of them. Throwing them like rag dolls, but not really like a werewolf rips the crap out of you. And at least in one of my, I love the old film The Wolf Man with Lon Chaney Jr. In that, since they can't show, back then they couldn't show like a lot of violence, at least they didn't show him like throwing people around. They would insinuate that, he's going to attack somebody. They would yell, and the camera wouldn't show you that, but you put two and two together, and he was ripping this person to pieces. And so this was not like a werewolf. He was like a
Wolverine.
Bouncer. He was letting him a belt. He wasn't hurt. He wasn't really killing. He was killing people by throwing them.
He was a hairy wrestler.
He was like a wolf wrestler. He was like a gorilla or something, throwing people around. He wasn't scratching them up, wasn't eating them, or anything like that. It was just like throwing people. Yeah. And I'm like,
woman got thrown overboard, didn't she?
He's like threw her overboard. And
he didn't even eat her.
No, didn't eat anybody. I mean, and yet he did attack and kill those people at the beginning that they were reported about. But in this one, he's just like, oh, everyone be aware of this. A special werewolf is out there. This one, news bulletin, will throw you. So, if you are thrown by this werewolf, get up and run away because he won't scratch you or anything. He'll just throw you.
Right.
You'll be fine after he throws you, as long as you don't fall into the ocean or something. You'll be great. This werewolf has, yes, he's not hungry. He's very clean. We're gonna put him in the zoo where he can throw things.
And he was also a drug addict.
He was a drug addict werewolf who will throw things. So don't worry, don't panic. He's not going to kill you. He just wants to throw you.
What's up, Doc?
To throw you.
Doc Fortune just walked into the chat.
What's up, Doc Fortune? Nevertheless, there's plenty of Kolchak greatness in this one. He's just so McGavin. I mean, he carries this show always for me. There's always interesting plots and stuff like this. And this was a fascinating idea, putting it on a cruise ship. Always love her, by the way. She's always she's also still with us, but that's Nina Talbot, and seen her in some other stuff. No Star Trek actors in this one, folks, but there usually are. I checked. Yep. But I would give this one a B because I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. It's always fun.
You gave it a B?
Yes.
That's what I gave it.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I gave it a B because the werewolf was a tortured drug addict on the Pacific Princess and the Werewolf. It's the Love Boat, but with the werewolf. And I also thought the guns were kind of silly. It's like all of a sudden everyone had sawed-off shotguns, and the werewolf didn't eat anyone.
Yeah, I mean, it was goofy in that respect. But Darren McGavin, unless the show's really unbelievably terrible, when he's playing Kolchak, you can't go wrong. He's going to carry the episode.
Yeah, but at least eat some people.
You're
a werewolf.
What
werewolf are you?
You don't have to show it. Just he's not a scary werewolf. He's a goofy looking one. Let's see. Yeah. Connection is going out. I duplicated your chat. I got you, Michael. Have you ever seen there's actually a movie from the early 70s called, oddly enough, it's called Werewolf. And MST3K showed it. It's probably one of the worst movies you're ever seen in your life. It's so unbelievably bad. It was filmed down here in Louisiana in the late 60s, early 70s. And it's so horrible. The makeup, it makes this werewolf look like American Werewolf in London, which is like a really scary. Have you ever seen that film, Raquel?
Yeah.
Well, that's a scary film. You should not. So I would have told you not to watch that one.
Well, I turned away lots. You guys know that hands. Put your hands.
You got to protect her. You got to protect her, right?
Get a pillow.
Oliver Belamonte, but
Oliver.
That's a good movie, and that's a very scary. That's a terrifying scene. So, in other words, but this movie called Werewolf makes the one in this episode look like, yes, exactly. Doc Fortune knows it. Like it makes it look great by compare, because Lon Chaney Jr. looked great as the Wolfman. So yeah, but in the movie Werewolf, this guy's got this terrible rubber mask. But there's this one scene I'll never forget. The MS3 guys, of course, made it funny. There's this one scene where he's running down the street of this at night, and there's a whole bunch of people out, right? And he's running. He's a werewolf, and a werewolf, mind you. They're supposed to be like a guy who can, like the guy in this episode, throw people over. A guy, some rednecks walking by because it was filmed down here, and he stops. He jumps on the guy. The guy kicks his ass, and the werewolf goes running. God. And one of the bots said, "Hey, an ordinary random citizen who could kick a werewolf's ass."
Oh, Brogu's leaving. Good night, Brogu. Thank you so much
for
being here. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Good night, sweetheart. And don't forget, this is the way.
Have a good one, Brogu. I can never watch werewolf movies again after. So every time I see it, I go, in my mind, I hear someone saying, "An ordinary random citizen who could kick a werewolf's ass."
Right.
That's just awesome. Yeah.
Oh God.
That's
anyway,
great.
So Ginger Snaps, Dog Soldiers, Silver Bullet, Wolf, and all great. Yeah, I like Silver Bullet and Dog Soldiers. Yeah.
Ginger Snaps is Canadian.
Good, I haven't seen that one. Yeah.
That's one that I couldn't watch. It was too scary. I started watching it and I was like, oh no.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, this is bad.
You know,
this is not good. This is nightmare fuel.
Remember in the 80s, it was the Silver Bullet with Gary Busey? Like, go ahead.
Well, I just mentioned a quick story about that. So a friend of mine, her brother wrote a song in Silver Bullet. Rob Mathis is the musician today, and he's done very well with his career. Work with Sting, and he did the Kennedy Center Honors for years. He did that Led Zeppelin. He was in charge of the Led Zeppelin show. But anyway, he's done very well. God bless, which is amazing. He's extremely talented. And I remember being in the movie theater, and we all went to see the movie, and we're just waiting for his name to come up in the credits. We're all like, we're just gonna jumped up and started cheering, and he was there. And I was like, "Why are you cheering?" Everyone's like, "Why are you cheering?" It's like, because his name is in the credits. He was like, "I know someone who had his name in the credits." You know, that was that Stephen King was a story, but yeah, Gary Busey, and there's a kid. Was it one of the Coreys was in the wheelchair? So and it was he had like
One of the
cool motorized-
one of the Coreys, yeah.
one of the Coreys. I can't
I think
remember
it
which
was
one.
it was Haim.
You
Haim,
guys
yeah,
are so
Corey
crazy.
Haim,
Can
yeah,
I
yeah,
interrupt for two eggs of a puppy's
Yes.
tail? Because Michael Beacom was actually talking earlier with Herc 130 about how last week they had a massive tornado there, the biggest one that they've had in Nebraska
Oh,
since
wow.
1988. And Michael Beacom has been struggling to be with us tonight. He keeps flicking on and flicking off, so it's not good. Anyways, he's just announced in the chat that he is, continuing to have this connection trouble, and he's just getting the spinning wheel of death on his computer. So he's going to call it a night. And he said, "See you all on Saturday." Michael
Yes,
Beacom,
sir.
please kiss Cassandra's beautiful face for me. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for the amazing a scan of the companion.
Thank you.
And
Yep.
also,
Thank you, Michael.
thank you for sending that gift to Clobby. You the best.
Thank
Good
you so
night,
much,
Michael.
Michael. Appreciate that.
Thank
And
you.
I'm with you, Doc Fortune. I want to see that movie where a man turns into Gary Busey under the full moon.
That's scary. Yeah.
Those teeth.
That's
that
scary.
Guy, his teeth are just crazy. He
That's
was
Buddy
good in
Holly.
the Buddy Holly story. I liked
He
him in the
was
Buddy
good.
Holly story.
He's a
Yeah,
good
he was good in
actor.
that.
He was a great bad
He's
guy in
good,
Lethal
yeah.
Weapon, but he was just he's a nutty fellow.
His
I think
teeth.
some of the
Ooh.
nuttiest people are the best artists. So I mean,
Yes,
just the way
he's
it
a
works
nut
out. Yeah.
His chompers are scary. You know what I mean? It's like, Do you remember when you were
Oh.
little, the first time you ever saw somebody's dentures in a glass of water? And you're
Oh,
like,
that scared the
whoa.
heck out of me as a kid.
Right?
You know, you're
Yeah, my
at,
grandmother.
like grandmother's friend's house
Yeah.
or something. Like,
Oh, yeah.
oh my
So
God,
that's-
someone lost their teeth, and my grandmother's like, those really aren't their teeth. They actually lost their teeth a long time ago. Unfortunately.
That's funny. Anyway, that's what I think Gary Busey looks like.
Yep. Yes,
that
indeed.
first moment you have with false teeth in a highball glass in a bathroom on the side of the sink.
Ugh, yeah, well,
Larry
I told
says
all my
his
kids.
teeth are his
His
co-star.
co-star. Oh my God.
Well, speaking of the companion that Michael Beacom said, I just want to read this one part from the third page, and thank you, Michael, for scanning this. Ruth McDevitt or Devitt, I guess, makes her first appearance as a Night Stalker regular.
Yes.
And in one of those failures of continuity, certain to keep trivia experts up nights, she's billed as Edith Cowles. Note the spelling of the last name with one L. And she writes the riddles feature. In later episodes, however, the spelling of the last name has changed. The grammar police are very mad, and she got a new first name and a new job. She became, with no explanation, Emily Cowles, C-O-W-L-E-S. Yeah. Advice
Emily.
columnist as a society writer. Confused? Well, in the first episode, we are told the name of the advice columnist. Remember,
Miss Emily.
Kolchak, had all the papers, all the letters he had to do.
Yeah.
And is Emily Fenwick. McDivitt appeared in that episode, but not as Emily Fenwick, Emily Cowles, or Edith Cowles. Got it straight now? Continuity wasn't always the Kolchak's team's strong suit. So I thought I'd read that. Thank you for Michael sending that over.
Yes. Yep. Nice. I knew I remembered her. Could not be reached for further comment. Greetings.
Good evening. Yeah, I hate those kind of teeth as well. It's like the dentist wants to make the person's teeth straight. So the dentist pulls all of the teeth out so that there's room for all of the teeth. And then it looks like the person's teeth are coming out of their mouths. Maybe it's Poltergeist. Maybe it's Gary Busey. But I just come from a generation where that just does not look normal to me. You know what I mean? I know it's very common now because, after our generation, after Gen X, cosmetic dentistry exploded. And now everyone looks like that. But yeah, I don't like it either. Could not be reached for further comment. It's like, you.
The wrestling werewolf. More scenes of the wrestling werewolf there. By the way, why did he go to the bridge? It was like, I'm gonna go.
That's the most well-defended place, right?
I'm gonna go kick some ass on the bridge because they can't do anything to me. He didn't want to beat anybody. He wanted to fight because he was a soldier. Maybe that was it. He said,
Well,
"I'm
it's
gonna
also the fact that he was a tortured drug addict, right? Like the first
Yeah.
thing he asks for is drugs, and he tries to chain himself to the bed, right?
I think
don't
it's
like
because he's got such a
sailors."
headache. Yeah, he's got such a headache from the werewolf bite, I guess, right, and the infection that he's going crazy. And
He's going,
I
"I
thought it
don't
was
like
interesting
soldiers."
that they introduced this idea that the werewolf bite never heals. I've never
yeah,
seen
that was
that before, and I'm a gothic horror fan, so I was like, "Huh? What do you mean it never
They change
heals?"
the rule. They always manipulate the rules. It seems. 'Cause, I mean,
Mhm.
what's this stuff about the silver bullet has some kind of blessing? That's holy water. So I didn't get that either. And that guy was no
Yeah.
priest, so it was. And by the way,
Yeah,
I
that
don't
was funny.
I don't know if even if he got any of those bullets into him, that didn't kill him. He just dumped them up into the ocean.
Right.
He
And
just
wouldn't
went
the
there
werewolf
for
be
some
able to
wrestling.
swim? Wouldn't he be able to swim to land? I mean, the werewolf would ever
Maybe.
die, right?
I
Isn't
don't
the
know.
is a werewolf
Maybe
immortal?
maybe he's
Basically,
wrestling sharks now.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's it, right? Like it takes a long time. Like when you put a vampire out to sea and you give them like a water burial, they can walk back
on the water, underwater,
Oh, yeah.
right?
underwater.
They
They
turned into a
walk.
bat.
They just have a walk.
Right.
Yeah. So he's.
Well, I have
yeah,
to
he's not
add
dead.
too that you think the werewolf would be hungry because my dad said when he came over on that ship, sister ship, so it was the worst food he ever had in his life. British cuisine on a ship back then. It wasn't a selling feature. He said it's
No, it's
never
a plate
been.
of brown. Would you like some
Yeah,
brown?
yeah, he said he couldn't believe how bad the food was because
Oh.
he had a choice of either they would he was getting a new job over his company was sending him over here, so he had the choice of either flying or taking going on the ship. He's like, well, I'm going to get a vacation on the cruise ship, and then thankfully there were no werewolves, but he said they had this massive storm, so they had to stay below deck for like 5 days. And he said, and then he's like, and the food was terrible. He's like, oh God, I should have flown, but
I
yeah,
would
but
never
thankfully no
take a
werewolves.
ship across the Atlantic.
Well, he thought it would be cool. Yeah.
Oh
so-
yeah, but you know how sick you would get. Oh, it was
yeah, it
so
wasn't
much
good in this
worse.
storm.
Doc
Well, now
Fortune
they have the
says,
gyroscope that keeps the ship stable, but yeah, they didn't have that
oh
back
yeah.
then. Yeah.
I like that they have that on smaller ships now for the stove, which I think is really cool, or the stove top. Doc Fortune says it depends on the vampires because some vampires can't cross running water.
Oh, interesting. That's right. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Oh, and Glabber Times, as you mentioned, Nita Talbot is still alive. She's 93 years old. God
good.
bless her. Wow, looking at old
So is
pictures of
Eric
her.
Braeden.
She was, and Eric Braden's loved too. She
yeah.
was gorgeous. My goodness gracious,
God, yeah.
wowzers. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Who's ready to review a Star Trek comic? Are you ready? You don't
We
have
should,
to. You
but
want
first
to.
I have to
sure.
call Larry, honey.
Larry.
Sweetheart, we're doing the Star Trek Unlimited episode number 3. If you want to pull it out, because I know you bought them like I did.
Yeah, and let me turn this.
Don't worry.
You got it
It's
right.
really issue number 3, but just in case.
Yeah, story number 3, episode number 3.
Episode 3.
Sorry.
You got me saying.
Issue, sorry.
Episode
I'm
2
sorry.
now.
I'm sorry, everyone. Sorry.
Be sorry. You better be sorry. All right, let's see here. Oh, shit.
Poor Mark. Sorry, Mark.
We are sorry, Mark.
That's okay. That's okay. Hope you enjoyed that
sorry.
slideshow there. That's all right. Yeah,
You did. Thank you. It was very cool.
yeah.
It was awesome. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Welcome. Yep.
All right. Star Trek Unlimited number
No video?
3. Oh, of course. I'm glad you reminded me. All right, everybody. Time to review a Star Trek comic.
Warp drive, Mr. Scott. Ahead, warp 1, Mr. Sulu.
Accelerating to warp 1, sir.
Oh, thank you. Big shout out to our wonderful first officer for that amazing intro to our Star Trek Comics Review segment. Thank you so much, number one. Well done.
My pleasure, boss.
Great stuff.
Okay, folks, Star Trek comic books, in case you did not know, go all the way back to right around not too long after, anyway, that the original series was canceled in 1969. I believe the first one came out. There was the Gold Key Comics had the property for many years, just about a decade or so. Although there were in other countries in the UK, there were Star Trek comic strips in certain publications as well. But as far as the United States market and worldwide, the big one, the big distributor was Gold Key Comics. And then in 1979, with the release of Star Trek: The Motion Picture, which we have the adaptation of which we have reviewed here first in our first show that we did, Trek Review Comics. Marvel got a hold of the brand and had it for a short time, a few years, and then a couple of years or whatever, and then it moved over to DC, where it lasted well over a decade. Eventually, both original series crew and TNG had comics, but eventually the rights kind of split up for the franchise, whereas there was Malibu Comics, had DS9, and had Voyager Comics. However, in 1996, there came an agreement between Marvel and Paramount to produce a line called Marvel Presents Paramount Comics, to be exact, in which they would put out various titles based upon the various Star Trek iterations. And we've reviewed a couple of those so far. We did a series called Star Trek: The Early Voyages. And did we do some other one? I think we did another one, but I can't remember which one.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And I just want to say good evening to DJ Play Nice.
Rock.
Hey, DJ. Right, we did the untold
stories,
Voyages.
or
Untold Voyagers.
Yep.
Which took place after the motion picture.
untold Voyages. Yep.
So now this is a 10-issue series from 1986 and 87 called Star Trek Unlimited. Each issue has a original series crew story and a TNG crew story. They alternate front, which each one gets the front and which gets the back. And here we are at issue number 3. Trapped in an alien dimension, the lives of the shuttle's crew are in Lieutenant Uhura's hands, plus Star Trek: The Next Generation. So here we go. Space, the fun for not. They usually do the TV series when to boldly go where no man has gone before, but I guess for this episode they didn't. I don't agree with them changing that just because of this one, but nevertheless. Message in a Bottle, written by Dan Abnett and Ian Eddington, the writers of many of these stories. Mark Buckingham, penciler. Keith Sutherland, inker. Phil Felix, letterer. Kevin Summers, colorist. Tim Tuohy, editor. Bob Harris, editor, and Chip Carter, Starfleet Operations, whoever that is. So we begin our story, number 1. With Uhura. How about that?
Yeah.
Well, it's really, really sad because I just want to burn it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You mean like
look good in this one?
You mean like this page right here?
Yeah.
You want to burn this page?
Well, the thing is that I hate this fan shit. Like, I hate that fans think that Uhura is a linguist. She's not. She's 4th in charge on the Enterprise. She's an astronaut primarily, but she is a communications engineer. So if you read the Star Trek Bible written by Gene Roddenberry, she is a technical person. She's an engineer. She fixes the communication systems, and we know this. That she's the best at this because Spock even says she's the best at this. She's not a linguist, and I realize that this has been an accumulative thing in the fandom where they consider her a linguist. Uhura is not a linguist. I can read her bio written by Gene Roddenberry for everyone if they would like me to.
You have before, right?
I have. I mean, she's an astronaut primarily, and she is a communications engineer. She specializes in fixing the technical and communication systems. She rewires the entire bridge for Spock because Spock tells her that she's better at it. I mean, why do they keep trying to make her into a linguist? Good evening, Stephen S.
Stephen S. Hey.
It's
I guess
annoying.
Well, I think people just put the communications officer.
Nobody ever thinks about it, I guarantee you.
Yeah, they just say, well, she must be a linguist because she's the communications officer.
If you had
what
never
about communications indicates linguistics?
It's just the way it goes. I mean, yeah.
No, I'm not. We're definitely not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, if you had not told me about this long ago, it never would have occurred to me. I just assumed if Uhura does it in a story, even if it has to do with linguistics, as you say, I would have just accepted it. Oh, that's cool. She can do that.
Yeah, but Hoshi Sato is a linguist, and she's not even an astronaut.
Right. That's true. Oh, no, I hear you, but I'm just saying people don't think about that stuff. And so you would think, though, someone writing a story would go and look into the Bible, the characters and stuff like that. But aside from that one scene in Who Mourns for Adonis when Spock had her working on the console, they didn't do it a lot on the series, and then they didn't do it in any of the movies, really. So,
except for when they broke up the books because she doesn't know Klingon.
Right, good point. So, but they don't think of that stuff. It wasn't ingrained.
I don't think it's intentional. Yeah.
I'm thinking they're being ignorant.
Yeah. Because Jean clearly said that she specializes in the technical upkeep and wiring of the communications systems. She's not a linguist.
Right. No, look, I had no argument here. I'm just saying, I'm saying these people, like if you, for example, got into a conversation right now with Dan Abnett and Ian Eddington and told them what you're telling us, and they're good writers, they've written some good stuff, they would probably say, really?
What you're talking about with us?
They might not. I mean, if they're like friendly people who could take, counseling and stuff, would go, oh, okay. I mean, now they probably, it never even occurred to them. I don't know for sure. I can't speak for them, obviously, right? I don't know them. But I guarantee you most writers don't even think about and they should. I'm not saying they shouldn't. But
but
see, they're very few Uhura-centric stories. That's another problem.
Yeah.
And then they also, I mean, and she would be working the universal translator on the shuttlecraft, right? I mean, that would be her job to get the universal translator to work.
Yes.
So not the line about translation, but she would be one to say, she'd be the one to, operate that universal translator and say.
Yes. Jean called her an expert in all of the ship's systems relating to communication. So she is the person who makes things happen. As far as she could build a radio for you. That's who she is. It has nothing to do with linguistics.
I hear. No, look, I was glad to learn that when we learned it. But when I learned it from you, and I thought I know my trek, I still think I do in a little bit. But it never even occurred to me. Didn't know it, and there are no Uhura stories. I mean, she doesn't have one story on the series, which is a shame. She has a couple of episodes.
They're really trying to do that here. Make her. And
like you said,
we'll get into it, but yeah.
But it's like you said in that episode where they mention it. I guess it doesn't stick that much for some people because I've watched that a million times.
Yeah, it just pisses me off though too, because at the same time, those same fans use that against Uhura, and they use that against Gene Roddenberry, saying that that it's inconsistent or that it's stupid or how come she doesn't speak Klingon, and then they get all mad at Gene Roddenberry. At no time did Gene Roddenberry ever assert that Uhura was a linguist and that her specialty was linguistics. They had a universal translator. I'm just going to read from Gene Roddenberry's Bible from Star Trek from page 14 in case anyone here is listening in and they think I'm a bitch or a nincompoop. Lieutenant Uhura, communications officer, played by attractive young actress Nichelle Nichols. Uhura was born in the United States of Africa. Quick and intelligent, she is a highly efficient officer and an expert in all ship's systems relating to communications. Uhura is also warm, a highly intelligent female off-duty. She is something of a favorite in the recreation room during off-duty hours too, because she sings. She sings old ballads as well as new space ballads, and she can do an impersonation at the drop of a communicator.
Yeah.
So yeah, so now I'm just gonna leave that be just to make sure that I provide the receipts for folks. So if you're one of those people who are like, oh, Uhura is a linguist, she should know all the different languages. When the communicator doesn't, when the universal translator doesn't work, she should be able to decipher languages. What the hell was that? Why did they have books? And why was she struggling to figure out what Klingon is? She should be able to know what Klingon is. You're an idiot. Stop blaming Gene Roddenberry for things he never said. That's from fans. That's not from Gene Roddenberry. It has nothing to do with Uhura. That's fan lore that fans built up in their mind. And it just pisses me off so much because, you know, when you're on social media, people will be like, what are you talking about, you dumb bitch? Uhura, of course she's a linguist. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Like, it's like people repeat this stuff so often that they think it's fact. And there's so much factoid in Star Trek where people have just repeated these ideas so often that they think that they're fact, and they're not. They're not. Page 14 of the Bible. Just go to the Bible. Anyway.
People
and
should.
She's also fourth in charge. She's fourth in charge. Might have had something to do with the fact that Gene Roddenberry was sleeping with her and that she is ridiculously gorgeous. That could have something to do with it.
Well,
no, inconceivable.
There was an issue, I forgot which comic company, in which Uhura used his technical knowledge to rescue the landing party via sonics. Gotcha. I mean, some people I get like and like could not be reached saying that some of the BBS forums he got into appeared that in some of the early novels, but not in the show. But I don't know if the novels are canonical. They're not really considered to be canonical, but yes. So in other words, some people read, maybe a few writers read the Bible. So there you go. Well, what'd you think of the art right here?
I think it's terrible. This is literally like somebody who was my idol growing up, her and Spock. Obviously, I'm a communications and technology scholar, and it's just a coincidence that I studied linguistics thereafter. It's just because I needed to find a job. Just a big coincidence. The two are not related to each other. So obviously, I grew up adoring this woman. I think she is one of the most beautiful women to ever be on television, and the artist is horrendous.
Oh, I've seen a lot worse. I hate to break it to.
Well, I like this.
I just said that too. Yeah,
I thought this was pretty good. This is better than that page.
Kirk looks horrible though.
Yeah, some of the
panel, he's better in the right.
Good. The ships look good, but yeah,
the ships are good.
Love you, Oliver, and I totally agree with you. Oliver.
So Zoe Delnana is only Lieutenant Uhura for me. And it's so sorry, Zodan. Yeah, well, yeah, sorry. What's her name?
Oh, she's green too, so it doesn't work.
Just
kidding. She should be in Orion Slave Girl.
Yeah,
Orion Syndicate.
She should be. Yeah, she's not Uhura anyway. So anyway, the basic communications officer's log, stardate 5989.6 will. While charting the remote Hygiene cluster, the Enterprise has encountered a curious spatial phenomenon. Don't they always? What initially appeared to be a wormhole is, in fact, the entrance to a pocket universe a fraction the size of our own. The regular bursts of quantum matter from within it seem to contain repeated structured phrases and indecipherable language of pure energy. Okay, that sounds like a Star Trek episode to me. Captain Kirk has assembled a landing party to run the gauntlet between the quantum dischargers we are to investigate. If life exists within the anomaly, and if we can if so, to communicate with it. So Sulu and Kirk and I guess Chapel,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know who and some dude in Uhura, of course.
Mm-hmm.
You're slayed in, Captain. Oh my! sorry. So, anyways, here we go. I actually like the space stuff, but then it's people sometimes. And
The people are awful, but the space stuff is terrific.
right. This is the same penciler from last week. His people are problematic, I guess you could say.
Yep.
But yeah, his other visuals are ships are better than
Rushed.
people.
Very rushed.
Always. Oh, Spock looks okay right there, but yeah, hit or miss.
Oh yeah, Spock does look good there. But
This
look
person has
look
weird
at the
hair.
Opposite. Look at the Event Horizon.
Look at the
Looks
hair on
terrific.
this person.
I know. That's the helmet head.
Yes.
This doesn't look anything like Uhura.
No, I guess not.
Yeah, the boobs are too small. What's going on with her stomach? What's happening to her face? Like Nichelle Nichols is gorgeous, like
Well, yeah.
gorgeous. And
Yes.
where are her beautiful jade earrings? What are you doing? What are you doing?
They changed her earrings. Oh my goodness.
Oh, I've seen so much worse. I just I
Oh,
mean, it's not great, but I'm just
yeah, I've seen 10 times worse.
Sorry,
Well, in
guys.
any comic,
I'm new to comics.
but even
Yeah, no,
in,
that's
but
okay.
even in Trek and if you just restrict that to Trek comics, I've seen way worse. But yeah, it's not great. I mean, it's hit or miss. I like the spaceships.
Yeah, the spaceships and the space shots are great and could not be reached for further comment. Yeah, I like it was super intense with the JJ crap, the Jar Jar guy. Like, wow, he made a mess out of people. Like, especially the people who like the Mantle film where they turned all of the characters into costumes. It was terrible. And anyway, love the comments, could not be reached for further comment.
Yes.
Terrific.
Yep. So Kirk gets knocked out because he wasn't wearing a seatbelt.
Yeah, what they should be wearing your seatbelt.
Nobody was wearing this. Nobody was. And there's Chapel. I don't know. And this guy's like, I don't know what I'm doing here, but I wish my shirt wasn't red. Now you'll be all right.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, he doesn't get killed.
No, fortunately.
He lives.
He lives.
Damn it.
So they're going through this wormhole thingy. And basically Nurse Chapel says what they got a important after all, and I can watch over the captain. Isn't that a command officer's decision, Nurse Chapel?
Yeah.
She said, I can stabilize this condition. Oh, he says, I'm in command branch, but technically I'm only here as a pilot. With the captain down, mission command falls to Lieutenant Uhura. You like that?
Not true. She's fourth in charge, but I do like that they at least try to address it here because Gene Roddenberry, don't forget, Gene Roddenberry got into a big fight with the network people over this because Uhura was supposed to be fourth in charge. She was supposed to be fourth in charge in writing, and it caused a big kerfuffle that really pissed off the great bird of the galaxy.
Yeah. So why would he say that, though, like that? Then since I'm only here as a pilot, with the captain down, mission command falls to Lieutenant Uhura.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, I'm in command branch, but technically I'm only here as a pilot. Well, if he wasn't there as a pilot,
that makes sense to me.
That didn't make much sense to me.
No, because
So
remember,
really.
because remember that Uhura is a department head. Not only is she bridge, but she is a department head. She is the head of all communication systems on the Enterprise. And that Gene made that very clear. She is a department head. So Sulu is way below her. There's no question of that. She's fourth in charge.
Yep. Well, there you go. And she is in charge of this mission.
Yeah.
So
so when people start shit talking the old Star Trek, people need to realize that Gene Roddenberry was sleeping with Nichelle Nichols, was completely like enamored with her, and wanted to give her a very important position on the ship. He also did the same thing with Ms. Barrett. and he was moving women up the chain of command when women weren't even allowed to be in the military. So not only did he make them astronauts, but he tried to make number one in the cage and they turned him down. And then he tried to make Uhura fourth in charge and a department head and an astronaut who was an engineer, and we have this crap. It's very frustrating. Anyway, I'm gonna shut up now.
No. Don't do
Gene
that.
Roddenberry is not who the modern fans think he is. That's all I'm trying to say. If you can't sit there and say bad things about Gene Roddenberry, if everything you believe about Star Trek is from fan lore instead of the real facts.
West Gaggle.
West.
Up west. So she takes command and then she says, everyone has permission to go eat some Captain Crunch berries before we get started. I want some. He's like, thanks, Mom. I want Captain Crunch. I want some now. I wish I had some of these. Can you go get me some, Mark? Here we go.
Sure. I love Captain
Beam them
Crunch,
over
yeah.
here. I don't want the bear. I like Crunch berries, but I think I want peanut butter Captain.
I like peanut butter Captain Crunch. That's the best. Yeah,
My
yeah.
favorite. It hurts though. It's painful. It hurts my teeth bad. Is there no way we can come about? Says Uhura. Let's see. I wouldn't like the chance that if we caught a quantum burst broadside, it could tear us apart. Very well. Anyway, so she's basically we're committed to our course. They're going to go all the way to the other incident before they can turn around.
Mm-hmm.
I'll hail the Enterprise to inform them that our situation and confirm my decision. There will be a 30-minute delay of the course, so until then, we're on our own. Mr. Sulu, monitor for quantum turbulence. I want us to I want to be ready for the next time. Nurse Chapel, Mr. Corman, take your seats. So she's and buckle up, please. Yeah, unlike Captain Kirk, who doesn't wear his damn seatbelt.
In the closet.
This guy, is he Mr. Boma? Humph. This is Galileo 6, I guess. And he's Mr. Boma. So what is your prop? So we have to have the drama, right?
Yeah.
What is it? What's your problem? This is wrong. She's not command branch. She's just support. Oh, this guy's talking better at Roddenberry right here.
More fan lore.
She's just support. It'd be like putting you in charge. Whoa, what a dickweed. Thanks for your vote of confidence. By your reasoning, I guess it would be like putting you in charge too. Good one, Chapel.
Kind of not really Star Trek, but yeah.
Well, but Mr. Boma was an a-hole too.
Mm-hmm.
They have a-holes. You got to have a-holes even in Star Trek.
You have to have a-holes.
Yeah.
Got to have your a-hole. He's a little twit.
A-hole.
He's a twit.
A little bit too much of an a-hole, I thought, but
But
Yeah,
again,
me too, Mark.
Boma was pretty bad. I mean, I love that episode, but he was a dick.
Yeah.
True. Acting Captain's Log, Lieutenant Uhura reporting, we are nearing the entrance to the Pocket Universe. In the absence of Captain Kirk, the dumbass would wear his seatbelts. I'm going to be making fun of him in my log forever just for that. Just kidding. I will initiate first contact procedure should it become necessary until I hear otherwise. For Mr. Spock, the welfare of this mission and the crew are my responsibility. Sensors indicate that we are coming up on the end of the tunnel. Oh my. He didn't really say that. Just kidding. Acknowledge, Lieutenant. We will fix it approximately 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. We're in what? Oh, we'll exit. Sorry. We're in. And they're green crystal thingies.
Look at how ugly they made this beautiful woman. What the hell is going on with this drawing? This person needs to have all of their pencils snapped. Just you're done drawing. Get out. Leave. Get out.
Oh, they're probably a little rushed there, I think. You're trying to meet
No,
a
they were.
deadline.
Yeah.
That's
And
the
so,
only thing I can say, because some of the other pictures aren't that bad, but yeah. That one is really bad.
So-
though, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
horrid.
Oh, Lieutenant, there's a large object that heads transmitting similar quantum. So that's basically they're transmitting something. This go, why aren't we going back? Damn it. He said, wasn't that the plan? No, it wasn't. I suggest you pay attention to orders next time, mister. And I'd appreciate you not addressing me in that tone, you little punk. Because I happen to know that I'm a pretty badass in that mirror universe. And so I am in this one.
Don't make me take out my dagger.
I once lost my memory and had it back in 2 days.
Genius
Remember?
IQ.
Yeah, but I mean, it was all there, even her memories and stuff. Apparently, not. I mean, and she lost everything, and then we got it back.
And it all came back.
I guess Nomad wasn't so good at erasing stuff.
No, was it as good as we thought he was?
Of course, I'm not done yet. Oh, you are. Believe me. What did I tell him, Uhura? I wish she was wearing her mirror uniform outfit. This one, anyway.
Yeah,
that'll be the Enterprise. Lieutenant Uhura, is anyone being an asshole over there? Well, a little bit.
Look at how terrible Spock looks. He looks like Mark Lenard. He looks like Sarek. He's so old. And what the hell is going on with her face? This is one of the most beautiful women to ever be on TV. What the hell is that? Anyway,
don't know.
It's called comics.
That's called comics.
Welcome to the party.
Yeah, they can't Mark. They can't use photographs. Don't look at that one, please, God Almighty.
Jeez, what the hell?
So, Lieutenant Hoshi, Uhura says,
Hoshi Sato is in charge.
Hoshi Sato. The quantum bioelectrical relays between this primary cluster and the others interact in the same way in the mammalian brain of the nervous system. So that's not really linguistic-y so much as technically, but yeah.
Communicating.
Communicating? Shin kicks, Mark. Shin kicks.
It's communicating. That's a good one. I thought you said Katie was here.
I invented a word.
Shin kicks all around. Shin kicks.
You said Katie was here. The primary cluster seems to process and disseminate data via quantum pulses, while the others function as limbs and organs. Says, okay, so far so good. Our suspicions that this place might harbor intelligent life was correct. Except I think the place itself is the life form. See, she's being a good Starfleet officer right here.
She is, and she takes this whole challenge on exactly the way that Kirk would, which I absolutely love.
Yes, she's being, she's doing what a good Starfleet officer in command situation with a first contact, situation like that, and it's attempting to communicate with our universe, but with no external frame of reference. It knows no languages but its own. Compared to itself, it might not even notice us as life forms. Hence, our rough ride in, Lieutenant. Oh my! I'm needed. Stop saying that, Sulu. Okay. A problem. A problem. The unusual gravity variance makes me say, "Oh my!" a lot. Here is placing serious stress on the engines. It's too close to the other quantum burst. Oh my! To try leaving. Oh my! I suggest oh my! We break out of the oh my EVA suits. Oh my! Now.
Minimus.
Oh my! Oh my! Minimusness.
Right, West?
So they got in there. Hey, I like the ones from Tholian Web better.
I like Lieutenant Nobody. He looks like he has to go number 2.
Was he? Oh yeah, he does. They should have. I don't know. The environment suit should have been like the ones from.
Yeah, I would have liked that a lot better.
Should have drawn the ones from. Yeah. Well, what can you do? I guess they changed. They upgraded them. This is way later, so. Okay, it doesn't necessarily mean the life form is hostile. I suspect it sensed the shuttlecraft and said, "You guys are weird because you have things on your faces and stuff. You guys, what aren't these weird life forms? Let's just eat them or something."
I like how you went quasi-Bem there.
Man, yes, I can't remember exactly how Bem talks, but you are life forms like me. Good and bad, sir. We've a few things salvaged from the settled. Stop talking like Bem, jackass. Sorry. But with limited life support and no way of contacting the Enterprise. This is all your fault, Lieutenant. Because you're a woman and stuff.
Yeah.
You should have turned back when we had the chance, because I'm a dude, that's why I'm acting this way.
It's super heavy-handed.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm trying to be fair here because Bulma was doing it to Spock, but he was being, of course, anti-alien, I guess, was a big deal.
Yeah, he was. And this one, it's like, the girls have all the answers, you big doofus.
Yes.
And it's
And then-
like, wow. Like, do you have to hit it so hard? Do you have to slam on that nail every second page?
She said, whatever his name is, eat a Snickers. Well, I don't have any. So she said, okay, well then eat some new M&M minis then. So he goes, oh, there they are right there. I love these. Eat those things and stop being an a-hole. All right, I'll try that. Maybe they'll
That's
stop
when
being
the
such a
M&M
prick.
girls still had high heels on.
Yeah, I like them. They were sexy little mini M&Ms. I love them. And as mission commander, Major Matt Mason says, it's my call. Acting Captain's Log Supplemental. I'm returning to the Captain's Log. What? I'm returning to the primary cluster at the heart of the anomaly, if I'm right. It could be the key to sending a distress signal back to the Enterprise. If I'm wrong, we'll all be dead and I won't have to listen to that little weasel anymore. I plan to use one of the quantum pulses as a carrier for the signal. However, this entails making contact with this being's consciousness. After the way it treated the shuttle, I rate my chances somewhere between slim and none, but I have to try. I don't think I've ever felt so alone. You're out of visual range, Lieutenant. Just keep maintaining the locator fix on us. Mr. Corman. Without those coordinates, we won't get home. Yes, sir. Who are you calling, sir?
Oh, stop and get some M&M minis.
And stop and get me some M&Ms.
Yep.
So basically, she recorded the translator thing to emit universal greetings and all. Some, all wavelengths and shuttles. That's very Uhura-like.
Yep.
Aside from acting as a vessel for the distress call, it may well provide means of talking to the anomaly itself. It's a long shot, but as the captain says, there are sometimes the best ones. Uhura landing party. I'm getting something. Yeah. So basically, she didn't do very much that was linguistic-y. She did something that was very Starfleet-y.
Mm-hmm.
By using her scientific intelligence and her abilities and her command skills, by the way, to set up a first contact with this incredibly alien, very, very alien type being.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Yeah, that part was really cool. I like that part of the story.
Yeah, so I thought that was a good part of the story.
It does get better, but
yeah,
I don't like the Sulu thing because everybody knows Sulu's not in charge. The fans think Sulu's in charge, and that's something they completely made up in their head. The linguistic-y stuff at the beginning when she's a department head and she's communications technology, not linguistics. But I mean, it does resolve itself in the end. But I wasn't really too keen on the like slamming on the nail with the hammer every second page about how
the sexism crap.
Yeah, girls do it better. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, and the guy, even if he's being a jackass, which is fine in the story, it wouldn't be. I don't think it would be sexism. Just like when Boma is being an a-hole to Spock, it's not racial. I mean, he's a black man himself in a time when they don't have that kind of stuff. It's just that he's kind of a prick, and he thinks he doesn't like the cold, emotionless command stuff. So it had nothing to do with any kind of real prejudice or anything.
Yeah.
In that case, it could just be the guy is a dork. So,
yeah, this didn't make jibe with me as a Starfleet officer being this idiotic. I mean, you would think you would know the chain of command before you went in a situation like that too.
And the fact that they're even discussing the chain of command is strange. I mean, it just shows that the writers, this is more kind of like what do you guys call this again? I forget what you call it. Fan
fiction.
Fan fiction. That I get the sense that this is fan fiction because of we start off with her being in linguistics. We don't recognize that she's actually a department head. There's too much on the Starfleet is sexist when, it's not supposed to be, and that's very that's not very that's not Star Trek at all. And then and this stuff with this guy, it's like it's super over the top. So it's like girl power And then like all the men are misogynistic. No, they're not. We don't really know who Uhura is and if she's in charge. And let's argue about what is more important, command or department designation and rank within a military organization amongst astronauts that are on a 5-year mission together. Get out of here.
Well, no matter how good or bad a novel or a comic is, it's not canon anyway. Paramount never, or back when they actually cared about canon, they're not canon. They're not counted. So
I love that you always say that. I love you.
Oh, I love you. And I just, they never count. So, which is kind of not a problem. If it's still a good story, enjoy it. Just go, well, Because, look, the shows don't obey their own damn continuity.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I thought the art was just not as good in a lot of spots. They were it was very rushed.
Mm-hmm. Look at the next page. Look at Uhura here. Who's that person? And why does she have spoons hanging from her head? Terrible. What horrible likeness. And how come what happened to all the girls' boobs?
We're not allowed to comment on that, but you can.
Whatever. The chesticles are gone. You know what I mean? Like Uhura, like you think about Uhura in the Mirror universe, and you get to see her tummy and look at how incredible shape she's in. No wonder Gene Roddenberry couldn't decide between her and Majel. I know it's an international show. No wonder he couldn't pick between the women. I mean, hot. She's hot.
And apparently, what's his name agrees because he's going to apologize. Look.
Yeah, I know.
So maybe not so bad after all. Bullpen bulletins. All right.
Where are her boobies? Her boobies are gone. And what's he
think he was going to apologize for being such a jerk there?
Yeah.
Whatever.
I guess. Yeah.
Looked like it.
That took me out of the episode or story. I mean, just
absolutely, because she would have written him up for insubordination.
She might have.
It's not. This is a person who is a department head who served on the bridge with Captain Kirk, who would put someone in their place if they were not following the chain of command or they were not doing what they were supposed to do. There's no question that she would do that. She would say, look, mister, you know your place, behave yourself, or you'll be spending the rest of the voyage in the brig. It's just ridiculous.
She might have
put you on report.
He might have got brought to Kirk's office after this.
Right?
Brought up by the captain.
Yeah.
So next story. Captain's log, star date 48294, whatever. I'm getting strict with some kind of cosmic ray crap, and now, even though I look like Mr. Picard, I'm talking like this for some reason. Shazam, golly.
Gomer Pyle.
I'm sorry. I misread that. Pyle. Me too. Captain's log, star date 48293.5. Hike. Oh, you're not supposed to say that. The Enterprise has been dispatched to the planet Deja Vu, and it reminds me of something that I can't quite. Oh, I'm sorry, Odina. A world blighted by centuries of watching our reruns. No, centuries of ethnic feuding between the two principal tribes, the Erlon and the Drin. I can't think I ever just named something wrong. The Erlon and the
Lisa.
Lisa.
Hey, Lisa.
Hey, Lisa. Anyway, so yes, there's the incessant warfare has brought misery and privatation to the planet's inhabitants, and they have at last asked for Federation aid. We are here to bring relief. Already, our shuttles are offloading emergency supplies to the surface and to strive to find a solution to this conflict. But at present, how we begin to negotiate between such implacable rivals is quite beyond me. But so is my hair. Sins of the Fathers, not to be confused with the episode Sins of the Father. Story, writers Ian Eddington and Dan Abnett. Penciler Ron Randall, much better. Inker, the great legendary Al Williamson. Kevin Tinsley, the colors. Phil Felix, letterers. Bobby Chase and Mark Paslucas were the editors. And Bob Harris didn't do a damn thing. But put his
And
name
I had to
on
look.
there.
Sorry, well, I had to look up privitation because I thought it was privatation,
It's
and it
privation.
means
Privation.
yeah, it's a new word for me, and I thought I graduated from college almost, but
There
it's,
are over a
loss
million
of-
words in the English language made up of multiple languages. Do not feel bad.
It means the loss or absence of a quality or attribute that is normally present. For example, cold is the privation of heat. So, a state in which things that are essential for human well-being, such as food and warmth, are scarce or lacking.
That's
Years
that's
of
the
ration
sense
and
that
privation.
it's used here, which
Here,
is a
yeah.
lack of basic necessities.
Yes.
The bare necessities.
See, and who
simple
said
bare
comic books don't make
necessities.
you smarter?
Pardon?
And see, look, comic book. Who
Comic
said
books
comic
teach
books
you
don't,
things.
don't make you smarter, right?
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
No, you did.
Certain people do. Some people do.
Oh
not
no,
you,
yeah,
but,
not me. Hello, Kay Roberts.
Jay Roberts, hey there. Yeah, comics always teach us, because this is what, when you were kids and read comics, that's what they were so important way back when. They would teach you words you didn't know what the hell that was, and you went and looked it up in those things they called dictionaries that were on shelves and stuff.
Your OED.
Remember those?
God bless the OED.
Remember those?
I remember those. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You can see it. So they're on this planet, and they're all posing.
Patrick Bird's here.
Hey, Patrick Britt, what's up?
How's it going?
More like an Englishman more than a Frenchman. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. I should have not. What if Patrick Stewart? What if Captain Jean-Luc Picard did not speak like a? Why did he? Was he not capable of doing a French accent, or did you said screw it, don't do it? It's too bad.
His French accent is horrendous. But
it's worse than mine.
But
mine?
once
Wow,
again,
that's
that's something that people get mad at Gene Roddenberry for. They're like, "Oh, what a stupid show! They got like a British guy who's from France. What a dumb show." Meanwhile, Gene Roddenberry didn't want Poopy Stew on TNG. He didn't think that he was young enough in order to jettison Bill, and he didn't want a bald guy. He had two or three really handsome, dark-haired, full head of hair, dark French guys lined up. He saw his captain as like a giant bear of a man, like handsome, tall, dark, and handsome. And so Poopy Stew had to audition a whole bunch of times, and Gene continued to say no. And it was the network, the studio people who shoved Poopy Stew down everyone's throats. But this whole idea that Gene Roddenberry doesn't know what he's talking about because he made a French guy with a British accent, you can blame all of the suits for that, because that had nothing to do with Gene.
Yep.
Yeah, and it wasn't Poopy Stew on the show, a French guy living in England, I guess, they tried to explain his accent, or the family had moved to England. Was that the story?
Yeah, but they didn't. They lived in remember the
no,
episode
it was in
Home?
France. It
was in France.
That's right. France,
his brother
right,
did, I don't think his brother had
Robert.
but I think his wife did. She was English, but that's Samantha Edgar. But yeah,
Dumb.
Anyway, so
making up excuses. They never should have hired him. He didn't even want to be on the show anyways. All he did was bitch and complain. He didn't like the uniforms. He got a chiropractor to write a note saying that he didn't have to wear the uniform. He bitched and complained about the aquariums on set, saying that it was animal cruelty. He's a whiny bitch.
Okay, there we go. He probably bitched about this comic book too. We're going to review it anyway.
On to talking about Agawa. Agawa's here.
Who?
Agawa. Alyssa Agawa.
Alyssa?
Yeah, Alyssa Agawa. That's her first name, right? Alyssa?
I thought you said somebody was in the chat. You said is here. I'm like, oh, who's that? So yeah, she is doesn't look much like she does on the show, but
she doesn't. And what I find hysterical is in this comic they say her name so many times that I think you should have to take a drink of tequila every time somebody says Alyssa or Agawa.
Yep, Alyssa, and then there goes Ogawa. He calls her Ogawa. So yeah, they talk about the ethnic cleansing of this planet. This was timely in the 90s. Oh my goodness, that's on the nose. Too.
Yeah.
Remember that what was Syria and what was some of those
Serbia.
Sorry, not Syria, Serbia. My bad.
Yep.
Croatia.
Yugoslavia, Croatia.
Yeah. So anyway, and that was
Balkans,
going on. Anyway, won't get into that, but so there's this war going on this planet again. They're still sort of subtle about it though. And a big they're trying to bring supplies to both of these planets. I mean, both of these warring factions. Not much is going on. I'm not sure why the Federation is mixing into it, but they're trying to help them bring supplies, but they're not really supposed to get all that involved, of course. Pihard is saying what Starfleet they were delivering some stuff, and some weapons got put in with their shipment from the Enterprise somehow. And it looks like someone was injured one of the natives was injured on the planet. They brought her back to the Enterprise. And then Picard is negotiating with one side, the side that Renai. They were apparently a lot more advanced, and they're like they're the more powerful faction on the planet. Beverly Crusher starts talking to this new girl, and I think
she's beautiful.
Who, her? Yes. Yeah. Al Williamson is a much better inker, and so Ron Randall and Al Williamson are way better than that last.
The faces are there. It's in another league. The women are beautiful, and the faces are terrific.
That's because it was inked by Al Williamson. Ron Randall's pretty good. He's a good penciler. It's Al Williamson enhances everybody. He overpowers every penciler, and he's old at this point, but he's a legend.
Wait until you see the next page.
Yeah, this is really nice.
Look at her face. Like, you want to talk to me about comics being beautiful? Well, at least here we have some beautiful. Look at Bev. Look at that left eye.
Yeah,
her left eye, our right eye. Yeah. There's some soul there, right? And look at the Enterprise.
And like Minimus says, yes, Gray Morrow and Jerome K. Moore were also really good at doing the Trek art. So, for DC when they were doing it.
Yeah, right, West. Well, this is the West. This is well traveled with TNG though, because TNG always gets itself involved in a blood feud.
They like doing that, yeah.
Blood feud is a big thing for TNG.
And so she tells them basically they kidnapped their children, and the other side and stuff like that. And so
look at how good Geordi looks there. Look at how good Worf looks. Look at how good Riker looks. Like, this is such, like, I don't know how it looks on the computer. Like, on the computer, it doesn't look as nice as it does in my book. My book is really nice.
Actually, this is a really nice scan of it. This is a pretty good scan.
Yeah.
But
even the hands. Look at the hands. Hands. I learned from Hungry Boy that hands are hard to draw.
Yes, they are. And then, but Ron Randall is, like I said, is a very good penciler. And you can see so much Al Williamson in this inking, especially on this panel right here.
Look at this guy here. Look at this tribesman.
Al Williamson.
Look at him coming up from, loading the weapons. Look at the detail. Like, it's just so much better than the first installment, the TOS installment.
Absolutely, it is so nice. I wish they could have. I hope they've done more issues. I think they have done some more. And so basically she does a DNA test just to get to the cut to the nut of it, because this is all very basic story, right? You have these two warring factions on this planet, and the Federation's been asked to just supply supplies and aid. They're trying to help both sides. They're not taking side. And then there's Alyssa. She says Alyssa again. There you go.
Yeah, it's said so many times. It's like, that's a hoobie doobie. That's a Herc 130. You got to take a tequila shot. But can we just talk about the fact that that on the ship, when to show her body angle, they stretch Poopy Stew's face. Like the artist who did this is quite clever, because that is how his face would look if you were not looking directly at the screen, if it was off to the side a bit. I don't know. I just really enjoyed the art in the second installment of this comic, especially compared to the first.
Yeah. Well, you're dealing with some pros here, so
Yeah, you can tell.
Plus, when you don't, like, especially a character like that, you don't have to get the face exactly right, too. So it's, when you're trying to recreate, like, Data's not drawn that well on that previous page.
Where?
It's okay. But
Wait for
if
me.
you go
wait
back
for me.
one,
well,
you got to go
Oh
back
yeah,
one
Data
page.
doesn't look very good. You're right,
See,
Mark.
but you're distracted by the
but it's
curve,
a-
shall we say?
but it's a
Of
smaller
course,
She's
they're rushing-
gorgeous.
but it's a smaller panel though.
Yeah.
And look at how beautiful she is. Look at her neck and her
Her?
jawline
Oh yeah,
and
she's
her
gorgeous.
waist and her, like, just her whole
she's
body. She looks
sexy.
gorgeous.
She's
Anyway.
gorgeous, and Beverly is right here too as well in this.
That's a nice panel there.
And
yeah.
he nailed her nose.
Yes,
That's
Looks
her
good.
nose.
Top stuff. I ran some tests on the young Drenai girl, and I couldn't believe what I found. Those results were corroborated by surveys in the Erlin and Drenai camps. The Erlin don't simply sterilize their female Drenai prisoners as if that weren't bad enough. They remove their viable eggs and artificially fertilize them, then raise them as their own children. Children who are bred to fight their own biological parents and siblings. Is this true, Ambassador? At the start of the war, yes, it's true, basically. Seems fair that we use their own genetic material against them.
I love how far apart Counselor Cameltoe's eyes are in that panel. Look at
Where?
Counselor Cameltoe in that panel.
Where?
Put your cursor
Right there?
over. Yeah, right there.
Oh, yeah.
Zoom in there.
Wow, I can't zoom this quite that way.
It's funny. Anyways.
Oh, my
it's
goodness.
hysterical. Anyway,
Yes.
Bev looks great.
It's not just genetic material; they are living, breathing individuals, and this has been going on for so long. Let's see. Wait a minute. They didn't. Wait a minute. They didn't know. They know. Did they? Do they? They don't know. Do they? Your people don't know what you've done. Do they? There is no need to tell them. And Erlin is defined by his belief in the Erlin system of government. I don't really talk like this. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Boss.
I'm appalled by this, Ambassador. I'm also appalled by my hair. But you don't have any. That's why I'm appalled, of course. I will stop that shuttle, and then we'll discuss the further. This further. Pee hard out. So,
Bye,
ooh,
Poopy Stew. Back
This
into the footlocker you go.
pretty good stuff like this. Let's see.
See, like when these artists have to hurry, they get the jawline right. They get the shape of the face right. And so even if it's not dead on, you're like, that's good.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yes.
you could just tell that these are senior people handling this, and it's nice.
Yep. Randall's pretty relatively in his prime at this point, a little bit, but Al is very, very old and experienced at this point. I'm only doing inks at this point in his career. Let's see. So anyway, you got some pretty nice art here. We needed to fill up some time with some nice action, so they're having a shootout.
Yep.
Someone stole the shuttle.
I like this idea of having a panel where the camera is careening as though like it's an actual episode, not a what's it called? It's
Issue?
like issue, yeah. Because look at how they cut off Jordy's face. That's mimicking a camera. That's mimicking a film. I love that. Like you look
It's
at that and
cinematic.
you're like, this is very immersive. Like they're trying to make it feel like a film, like a TV show. Anyway,
And
that's cool.
And that's on Randall because he's doing he's responsible for the figures and the panel layout and everything like that. And he obviously studied at the Joe Kubert School of Cartoon Art because a lot back then they cared about their craft, comic book artists, and they studied under Kubert and things like that, which means they weren't just drawing things on a computer like they do now. They're drawing these pencils on paper.
Yeah.
No computer. They don't draw on computers.
But just like that frame, it's like that's somebody who's into film. That's a film shot. That's a film angle. It's terrific because yeah, like I said, it makes it feel like an episode, not an issue.
No, you're right. It's cinematic and based on a TV show, and they try to make it feel like a TV show.
Yeah, right? And it's so cool.
Captain, even if the rogue shuttle was shot down, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, blah, blah, blah. We all know what happened.
Blah, blah, blah. Alyssa,
Blah, blah, blah.
Agawa, blah, blah, blah.
This is Dita Tarn of the Drenai first fist resistance. Maybe she means first, and they have a typo.
I don't know.
To Corella, Achur, you must break off your attack. Anyway, so basically, bottom line is they are Drenai like us. They have okay. So they realized they were killing their own. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you could just basically give us a rundown of what the story was, because it was a week ago since I read this.
Well, it's another blood feud, right? So they find out that they're all one race, that they have been stealing each other's eggs and manipulating like actual eggs, like birthing eggs.
Right.
They've been doing it for so long that they're actually the same people now. There's no genetic difference betwixt them, and so now it's up to Picard to explain to them that they are partaking in a blood feud, at which point they realize that if they kill anyone, they could be killing their own family, because these eggs are harvested and then implanted. The embryos are implanted basically in the enemy, so everybody puts down their weapons.
Agreed, could not be reached. I love Williamson's Flash Gordon. That's my favorite of his work, but he also did a great job on Star Wars for years. The strips. So there you go. And then basically.
This is a nice page. Look at this page.
Very nice. Captain Strong supplemental. Just at the brink, a turning point has been reached. Despite the efforts of both Erlen and Drenai leaderships to suppress the information, the truth has been unleashed. The violent differences between two rival peoples have led to a situation where there no longer remains a difference. With cruel irony, the war has made two sides into one.
Mm-hmm.
There is still great bitterness and animosity on Odina, but now those bred to hate are asking questions of their leaders. And the current fragility, always like saying fragility, it's Marx Brothers thing.
Yeah.
Truce contains the possibility of a long-term peace, a peace which future generations of Odian children may enjoy. The end.
The end.
Time for some first contact toys.
So,
I have those. So those are great.
So
Yeah,
for
that
me, the
org
first
chip is
story is like, I don't know. I don't like the girl power stuff. I think it's dumb. I also don't like the fact that they lean into the fan stuff too much by making Uhura a linguist, and then they back out of it, and then they put her in charge, and then not understanding their own chain of command. I thought that was kind of duh. So I think the first story is maybe like a C plus. And I think the second story, the art is really nice, and it's a solid story, although a story that is repeated quite a lot in TNG, which is the idea of the blood feud. I mean, we even have the blood feud in the film.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna give that a B. Overall, I'm still really impressed with Star Trek Unlimited, and I am thoroughly enjoying it as issues. These aren't episodes. The first two, well, the first one is the one that I really love. The first one is it's so
Early
good.
Voyages.
No, the Star Trek Unlimited, the first one.
Yeah. I thought you meant the first comic we did.
Yeah, no, the first comic that we reviewed was awesome.
Gotcha.
So, but they're all awesome. I just love that you're teaching me about these, and I'm just very grateful to have the opportunity to talk with two comic book experts about this, especially Star Trek, because I love it. So most enjoyable, but there are some missteps here, and I'm starting to learn why people have headcanon and why the fans have weird ideas. about different people and different things in Star Trek, because I used to be oblivious to this, and now I understand some of the nincompoopery. It's making more sense now. So I loved it, Clubby. Thank you.
Oh, cool. There you go. Mark, what was your?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think I did like the first story a little bit more maybe. I like the sci-fi aspect of it, not I really dislike the crewman who was after her. I thought I know why they put that in there, just to have that as that crew conflict or add something to the story, but really didn't need it. But I did like the solution of her saving the day and finding out that it's this massive creature in this other universe, and maybe something like immunity syndrome, but with an intelligence there. So I thought that was an interesting sci-fi aspect. I thought the second story had better art.
Mark,
Yes, you got me.
I'm-
You got me.
I'm
You got
I'm
me.
so
You got me.
sorry, Mark.
You got me. And I've been reading comics for years, but they are, yeah. But when you're doing a TV series, it's more like an episode anyway. But I thought the story was a little bit more contrived. I mean, with that the whole, they're actually all relatives of each other, and it's like, how could they not know that or know what was happening? Uh, on the face of it, not a terrible story, but I just thought that ending there seemed a little contrived to me, that they wouldn't know what was really going on there. Pretty tough. I think it would be pretty tough to cover that up. So, but you do have some super chats, so I shall stop talking about it. Give the first one, I give the first one like a B+, and the second one like C+.
Yeah, I'm about the same. I'll give the first one like maybe a C, because there's some interesting things in it. And the second one I'll give like maybe a B- or something like that. I really like. I'm gonna give it a B+ for the Al Williamson and Ron Randall art, which was wonderful. Story, not so much, but I'm gonna elevate it for the art.
You like the art, yeah.
Comic books are a visual medium after all. RRT and Z, good to see you, my friend. Thank you for the super chat. Says in Star Trek: The Next Generation, Chuck Norris played the warp core breach. Wow. I remember that it was a great cameo on his part, and thank you.
Yeah.
Gifted boy and RRT and Z gifted a membership. Thank you so much, RR. You are too kind, my friend. Thank you. And Captain Finity, thanks for that, by the way. I appreciate it. Oliver Belamonte says, Raquel, if you were to write a sci-fi novel based on time travel, what would you utilize? A chrono time sphere, a quantum time portal, or a faster than light time machine? I guess that's what FTL means.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about that?
Okay, Oliver Belamonte, I want you to know, first of all, that I love you and that I think that you are such a great conversationalist. You always give us such juicy things to talk about, and such great discussions that you initiate. I would never, ever, never, ever, ever, never, ever. Well, I shouldn't say this, because what if I do in the future?
You never know, yeah.
In the future.
Of course, if you time traveled back, you would know that, though.
Yeah, I tend to avoid writing about time travel. But like if you do write about time travel, I don't think that you should try and science it. Like I do like not the FTL time machine, but when you look at FTL science, as faster than light science, you don't discuss it. When you time travel, like when I think of decent time travel, I think that it cannot be fleshed out. So like Guardian of Forever. So like
Right.
it has to be technology so advanced that it was like when you were growing up, the first time you saw a microwave and your mom told you not to stand in front of it because you would get radiation poisoning. Like, can you imagine how your grandma felt? At that time, let's say if your grandma, she was 100 years old and you had your first microwave in, I don't know, like 1985 or something like that. Imagine how she would feel. So it has to be like a gargantuan reach and it cannot be fleshed out. Although I would avoid time travel at all cost. I just, there's no way that I would write about time travel. It's not something I'm interested in, and I find it highly problematic. But if I did, for sure, I would definitely make it like Guardian of Forever, or Guardian of Forever. I really think that it's got to be like that. It's got to be like an incident where you are experiencing something so alien that it would appear magical to you. So like Arthur C. Clarke, but I don't like it when people push the Arthur C. Clarke thing too far, where they make it seem like all technology has to be magical because everything is sufficiently beyond our reach. I think people take it too far. I really do mean that Guardian of Forever idea, or just leave it alone. But I did really enjoy The Time Machine. I really enjoyed H.G. Wells' Time Machine. That was like, that is such a good book. That's a good book. Like, have you ever read that, Oliver? Like, oh my goodness, The Time Machine is so good. That's such a great book. Like, I have so many pictures in my mind from reading that book. It's just great. And good evening, Apollonie's Minion. And the pepperoni.
Good stuff.
So, Clobby, how would you
Oh,
write
did
about time travel?
He has a BRB. He
has a
I'll be
BRB.
right
Okay,
back.
Marky Mark
Wait to
from the Funky
get
Bunch.
his,
Tell
some of
me
his.
how you would handle time travel.
Well, first I want to say hi to Apollonie's Minion, who just is here with the pepperoni. Just scooted in. So hail. And I despise time travel. I mean, I think Sitting on the Edge of Forever does it right, where it's if it's an accident, but I just can't stand the time travel. And as much as I love the TV show Enterprise, when I heard that that was going to be main focus of the series, was time
the
travel.
typical Cold War.
I just didn't want to hear. I just don't like it codified. I like it being accidental. So if I did a story, it would be by accident. And
hey, follow me.
so I think it would be like it wouldn't be a time machine. We'll leave that to H.G. Wells, but just I would have it, something to do with a black hole or a nebula or some kind of strange occurrence that would happen. Because once you open up that can of worms that is time travel, that you can control time travel and causality, and does it create other universes? And it just hurts my brain. I mean, of course, Back to the Future is just such a fun movie, and that's supposed to be a lighthearted comedy. Yeah, it's a lighthearted comedy. It's not sci-fi, so it's not meant to be taken seriously. Although of course they were quoting that in the Avengers movies when they're talking about time travel, which is funny. But I would do some kind of accidental natural phenomenon that made it happen. But great question.
Well, again, there are many wonderful uses of time travel in fantasy and fiction. In comic books, it's all over the place, but it's comic books. In Back to the Future, it's a comedy fantasy. I don't really prefer it to be in Star Trek. Star Trek should stay closer to science fiction. Again, but on Sitting on the Edge Forever, I allow it, like as if they need my permission. I allow
it. They do need your permission. You're in charge. You're the captain.
Yeah, that's true. It's McClobby's law, right, Infinity? But it's because at least they're telling you they're not telling you how. They're not trying to explain it. They're just saying they're putting it, keeping it nebulous. Now, I love Doctor Who. Many of you may love Doctor Who. In that show, it's a total fantasy that uses science fiction sometimes, because the idea of the TARDIS is similar to the Guardian of the universe, Guardians of the Guardian of Forever, in the sense that we know that what it can do, but the Time Lords are so many millions of years ahead of us and so far more advanced than us that they couldn't explain a TARDIS to it. They can try, and the Doctor tries sometimes, but it's fine. You don't really care. You go along with it. You love the show anyway, and it's a great show. So, and yet in Star Trek, let's see how many times it's been used. You'll pardon the pun. Sydney on the Edge Forever is Sydney on the Edge of Forever, of course. But before that, in Naked Time, an accident imploding the engines to escape the destruction of Psi 2000 caused the ship to go backwards in time, right? In the original script of that, it was supposed to tie into the episode Tomorrow Is Yesterday. They changed that for production reasons or whatever. But Tomorrow Is Yesterday, because they'd had a similar incident with a sun that they barely slingshot away from it or whatever, they ended up in 1968, as you know. And it's a good episode. I just assume you not really do stuff like that, but it's a good episode. They found a way back. They did not intentionally travel backwards. In Assignment Earth, I know, Gene wanted to sell the pilot, of the Gary Seven character. And good night, Dad, man. Good to see you, buddy. And
thank you for joining us, Dad, man. Good night.
As fun as some of that episode is, they went back in time. They just said, "Hey, you know what? Let's go back in time and study the 60s." I'm not fond of that personally. I love Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home. It's fun fantasy Trek, but it's it's a fun movie. The characters are so, but they just decided, you know what? We'll just do our usual thing, and boom, in a rackety old Klingon bird of prey, we can turn it into a time machine. If you excuse that, it's a fun movie. I prefer they not do that in Trek. They did it anyway. What are you going to do, right? So, and then Trials and Tribulations, one of my all-time favorite. It's my favorite DS9 episode. It's pure Trek joy. I love it so much because it's the 30th anniversary. But they've got this thing called the Orb of Time. Now it's the prophets. The prophets are like gods, and so at least the prophets who don't even experience time the way we do. So therefore, why do they have an Orb of Time? I don't understand that. But it was the 30th anniversary.
This is getting into our review. Remember when I said this? I'm going to say it again. We are not linear.
We are not linear. But we have an orb of time.
We have an orb of time, but we are
right.
The Cisco is linear.
And on TNG.
God, I couldn't stand that.
TNG, they went back in time, in Time's Arrow or whatever, but they didn't. It was just some weird alien race had a portal type thingy. Went back to Earth. Remember to meet Mark Twain or whatever? That was weird. Mm-hmm. So a show called The Time Tumble, which I love. I don't mind it. That was a show for younger people about history. Time travel is a fun fantasy concept. H.G. Wells' Time Machine is a great book. I love the only movie that I don't like the remake, the original one with Rob Taylor.
The book is great.
Oh yeah, I love Time After Time.
Technically a novella, but yeah.
Oh, there you go. Well, Time After Time is a wonderful movie. I love it.
That movie, yeah,
love it. So time travel is really entertaining in fantasy. When you're trying to stick to harder science fiction,
it doesn't.
In my opinion, you should avoid it. And man, it was terrible on DS9 the times they did it, and it was terrible on Voyager when they did it
because it's too tight. It's not loose enough, and they create too many paradoxes, and so that you have people, like, do you remember when you melted down and you existed but you didn't exist? It's like it's too tight. It time travel has to be looser, and it can't have too many details. You can't start fiddling around with whether or not you wound your watch and dumb things like that. Otherwise, people will say, "Huh?" And people, it just takes you out of the story, I think. Yeah,
and Ronnie, it was Donnie. I'm sorry. Yeah, a lot of shows. It's not. He says, time. Correct me if I'm wrong, but traveling happened in other entertainment franchises as well, including Power Rangers. Well, I haven't seen those Power Rangers that it happens in, but oh yeah, I mean, zillions of shows. I mean,
it does, but Captain Finity has just said something that is absolutely true. It's absolutely true. That's true, Captain Finity. Science fiction should be plausible, and it's our way of dealing with technology, our hopes and our fears and our aspirations. Look at the communicator. You know, Cooper was quoted saying that he saw Captain Kirk with the communicator, and basically, I forget his exact words, but my words for it are he wanted to put the guts in it, right? But science fantasy is when you go over that line and suddenly you're doing things that aren't plausible anymore. And so I totally agree. What time travel, if it's in the science fantasy in the science fantasy as a genre, and it's loose, and what I mean by loose is that it's a loose concept. It's not getting involved with like little teeny tiny details that will make people start scratching their head and questioning what's happening. I think it can work, but it has to be fantasy. It has to be science fantasy or fantasy.
Oh yeah, it can be highly entertaining, but I agree, it's not science fiction, it's science fantasy.
Yeah.
Or other kind of fantasy. Like I hated
my goodness. My offspring loved Wishbone. I even remember the cute little story. Or the cute little song. What's the story? Wishbone. That's cute, cute, cute. Dun dun Power Ranger.
Yeah. Oh, well, there you go. The professor helps. Well, yeah, I mean, look, again, no, I'm not, I love Back to the Future. I mean, those are wonderfully, and I remember Starlog magazine. I think I mentioned this to you before, Fenity and others. Back when, I think after the second or third movie or whatever of Back to the Future came out, Starlog magazine had someone wrote this articles that ran through that mag for a while about debunking how, time travel is impossible. And they were talking about how it's created all these different timelines and all this stuff. And it was pretty entertaining. And that was when I was that was when people were a little more accepting of time travel. But you read that and go, yeah, but if you just, in a comedy that's entertaining, anything goes, and you have fun with it, you're not taking it seriously. You shouldn't take time travel seriously.
No.
You could be in it. I love Doctor Who, and it's nothing but time travel, and I love it. But I don't take it seriously for a second.
But it's also great, fun science fantasy.
It's fun science fantasy.
And that's important too. Like, I think sometimes when we're talking, some people think, oh, well, like if you talk about a science fiction and hard science fiction and how that's for smarter people, and somehow, science fantasy is less than. No. That's not true at all. One isn't better than the other. It's just really important not to conflate the genres, because then we lose out on different types of storytelling.
Right.
Like what's happening with the superhero movies. There are so many genres conflated in the superhero movies now. No one wants to watch them because they're trying to get billions of bums into the seats, and so they want it to be for kids and moms and grandmas,
right,
and people looking for romance, and people who are looking for comedy, and people who are looking for action, and people who are looking for adventure, and people who are looking for science fiction, and people who are looking for science fantasy, people who are looking for a little bit of horror, and then they wind up ruining everything. So it's very important to realize that it's kind of like the geek and the nerd thing. They're different, but they're equal. One isn't better than the other. A science fantasy is just as thrilling as science fiction. They're just different. They're different genres, but they're certainly equal. One isn't more important or more intelligent or better than the other. A lot can be accomplished with science fantasy, and it can be great fun.
Yes, and Kay Roberts, have a good night. Thank you for being here.
Good night, Kay Roberts.
Hey, look, Babylon 5 did time travel, so to me, when they were doing it, they weren't engaging in science fiction. It was a lot of science fantasy on the show. That show was very Tolkien-esque in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, Ezra says, do I consider Doctor Who to be science fantasy? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
It uses a lot of science. There are episodes that are almost deal completely in science fiction, but those are usually the ones where John Pertwee doctor's on Earth when he was stuck on Earth in the 70s, and he was very much like Quatermass. And it didn't even mess with the whole episodes that had anything to do with time travel. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, he's running around in the TARDIS, going to all over time and space, backwards and forwards. So, in my opinion, Ezra, I not only do I do consider it science fantasy, and I don't consider that to be an insult.
Because it's not. If we didn't have science fantasy, think about all the beautiful stories that we wouldn't be able to enjoy.
It unleashes science fantasy. We love science fiction, of course, but fantasy, whether it's science fantasy or others, unleashes the human imagination to do anything it wants, and that's why I love it.
The Island of Dr. Moreau is one of the best. I think is the Island of Dr. Moreau. Is that considered a short story? I don't remember. Anyways,
know.
I've read it
I don't think so.
a few times.
Either, yeah.
I collect H.G. Wells books, and many of them have the stories slapped together. That's why I'm asking, is because they normally come with like 2 or 3 stories together and things like that. Anyways, when you look at the Island of Dr. Moreau, oh my gosh, I love that story, and that's pure science fantasy. There's no way that you're going to turn a man by injecting him into a panther. But I mean, I've read that story over and over and over again. Yeah. It's so good. And that is science fantasy. Imagine if we didn't have that. It'd be horrible.
Yep. And some, like, there's also science fiction does a lot of Star Trek does a lot of what they call speculative fiction mixed in with its science fantasy and its science fiction. And yeah, Oliver, Endgame is very frustrating time travel, but I was stunned in Avengers Endgame when Hulk said, if you go into the past, that past becomes your future, and your former present becomes the past. What can't now change? Be blah blah. It gives me a headache just reading it. So yeah, Oliver, I hear you, but man, that movie drives me crazy. Dr. Moreau is a good story, bad movie though. There's like 3 bad movies.
I think you guys. I think that the Island of Dr. Moreau. I read really long books. Like I read Bleak House, and I was like, I wish this was longer. But I'm pretty sure that the Island of Dr. Moreau is a full novel. It's not a novella. It's not a novelette. I think it's a full novel. I'm pretty sure.
And there are at least three movies.
Yeah, I would not see any of that. That's bad.
They're pretty terrible.
Wasn't there like a made-for-TV version of that story too at one point? I can't remember. Maybe I just saw it on TV. That's why I'm remembering it. Yeah.
Island of Lost Souls is the best movie. That's the one, the original with Claude Rains, I think, isn't it? Could Not Be Reached. They made that one, and they made one with Peter Ustinov in the 70s, and then Marlon Brando did that one, the really, really infamous one of the 90s. So they said that, I mean, there's a documentary on the making of that movie. It was so crazy. On the making of, just because how nuts he was. Yeah, 32. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, he was totally nuts. Yeah,
so imagine if we didn't have 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Imagine if we didn't have Around the World in 80 Days. Imagine if we didn't have Journey to the Center of the Earth. I mean, you're basically erasing Jules Verne from history. Like, we need science fantasy. Science fantasy is glorious. It's gorgeous.
It allows the imagination to flourish, whereas science fiction, you have to stay straighter in a you have to stay in a certain box, which is still great. Like I said, Babylon 5 always gets called a science fiction show, just as Star Trek and others do. And it's full of time travel, both of them. So yeah. Nothing, by the way, for me, it's never an insult. I mean, I love science fantasy.
Yeah, me neither.
And, superheroes are science fantasy, and there's other types of fantasy too, Yep. Obviously, there's
different doesn't necessarily mean that there's some type of hierarchy. No. And folks need to realize that,
Charles Lawton. I'm sorry. I said Claude Rains. I'm sorry. Go ahead, number one. Continue.
No, boss, I'm just echoing and amplifying what you're saying. And I just think it's really important that people realize that when we talk about different definitions for things on the show, that it's really important to discuss those definitions and to let people know that there isn't a hierarchy. This isn't a pecking order. One isn't better than the other. I imagine the world without the Nautilus. I mean,
can't imagine it at all.
Yeah.
Like Brian Hepburn. Yeah.
It's just these are incredibly cool stories. And I will tell you, the Island of Dr. Moreau scared the pants off of me the first time I read it. It's been a few years since I've read it. I've read it a few times, but yeah, just that whole idea of what that doctor did and the experiments he was doing. And yeah, it's right behind me, Brian. I want to go and grab it, but when I sit up in my chair, the chair makes a noise and then the dogs bark because they think I'm done with the show, so I want to stand up and go grab it. But I have my science fantasy that is in with my gothic horror right behind me, because there some of them meet. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
like the picture of Dorian Gray, Oscar Wilde is there because you've got some horror, you've got some gothic horror there, and you've also got, yeah. Anyways, you know what I'm saying. The section is gradual, but yeah, I absolutely love science fantasy, and it certainly isn't better than science fiction. Nor are you more intellectual for liking science fiction more than science fantasy. That's not true. Science fantasy is where the human brain goes to stretch for futurism, for dreams, for yeah. It's just it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. I just imagine the world without the Nautilus. Imagine the world without 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Imagine the world without Journey to the Center of the Earth. Yeah, science fantasy is as important as science fiction, but conflating them, it does a disservice to the author, and it does a disservice to the reader or the viewer, because we need to have many of these beautiful genres that do all sorts of wonderful things for us emotionally and intellectually. It's cool. Anyway.
Well, I do have a couple of quick things to show that I think are relevant to tonight. So guess what's back?
Oh, yes.
Oh, no way.
Magazine is back.
I saw those. I had a couple of issues of that way back. Well, I have them somewhere. Ezra, let me get Ezra real quick.
Yep, sure, yep.
Clobby, when Doctor Who was Earthbound during the Pertwee years, it was more science fiction. It did feel it was more like the Quatermass. So yeah, I mean, usually there were a lot of episodes that didn't have anything to do with time travel, and it definitely was very science fiction. Yeah, so they kind of got back to that in the Pertwee era when he was exiled to Earth by the Time Lords, and the TARDIS was not. He couldn't use the TARDIS. So yes.
Brian Hepburn, you're the best. So funny.
Yep.
Well, his copy's on the other side of the house, and he doesn't want to wake the kids up. So we both want to reach for our book so we can count the pages. Go to the back and see how many pages.
Yeah, I want this. This is so good.
Yes.
It's gonna be cheap. It ain't gonna be cheap, but
I think it's $40. It's after 41 years. A brand new 124-page issue of Blake 7 magazine is now available. You can get a 15% discount code. Well, welcome. Are these 15
reprints of the old mags? Or they
no,
new?
This is brand new. So after 41, a brand new 124-page issue is available. Yep. So it's a brand new magazine. So after 41 years. So here it is in the cart. So it's $27 with a 15% discount.
Oh, okay.
That's not bad.
How much shipping is? Is it just one book so far, or is it more?
Yeah, brand new issue of B7 magazine. 41 years old.
Because there were only 23 issues, right?
Yeah, so number 24. Yeah, so they're continuing it. Yeah.
I have like 1 or 2 issues of that. By the way, Minimus said that Harlan Ellison coined the phrase speculative fiction. He really hated being called a science fiction writer. Yep, he hated everything.
Huh. He hated everything, didn't he?
It doesn't bother me. The thing I don't like about the speculative fiction thing is that it really opens up this idea for people with little or no education to start pretending that they're experts in sociology and psychology, and they start involving all of these these partisan ideas, and then all of a sudden science fiction becomes a mechanism for allegory, and it's a means in which you can add your political or your political inflections. And yeah, it's just, to me, I it's okay if somebody's a sociologist and they want to write science fiction and they want to do that, but it's just these people who quit school in grade 11 who want to write things about that, and they want to pretend that they're experts, and it just becomes a machine for partisanship. And I get pretty annoyed with stuff like that. And I'm like Edgar Allan Poe. not a big fan of that didacticism and that, you know, that the hyper state of allegory and the hyper state of didacticism. Really like to allow the reader to use their brain. I don't need to instruct anyone in what they should believe about God or politics. So that's one thing I don't like about trying to stretch the meaning of science fiction. We even have some very famous authors who have stretched it to include romance, which really, really makes me want to barf all over them.
Ezra, even the Pertwee era was still science fantasy when there was time travel. All I'm saying is Doctor Who is completely, it is, all of it is time travel. I mean, it's the whole basis of the show is time travel. I said a couple of the Pertwee episodes that didn't involve time travel felt more like they were just science fiction, but even he did a lot of time traveling as well later. So yes, Hartnell, Troughton, Pertwee, Baker, as in Tom, Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, Paul McGann, Christopher Eccleston, David Tennant, Matt Smith, and then there's no real Doctor Who after that. But if you want to put Peter Capaldi there, and there's nothing after that, all did time travel. So it's just an opinion. I don't make the rules for Doctor Who. To me, that makes it science fantasy. And again, I don't see why that's a problem with anybody. I think that's just a definition of the show, because he's running around through time and space. He's interfering with stuff. He's changing time all the time. I mean, all the time. I get it. And he has complete mastery. And not only that, the TARDIS can go pretty much anywhere in time and space in a matter of, seconds, if you're aboard the TARDIS, of course. So, like he says, like he's even said, anywhere in time and space, everything that ever happened or will happen, he has access to it. To me, that's wonderful fantasy, but it is fantasy. So yes, again, I don't know. I hope you're not seeing this as an insult to Doctor Who, but I think it's science fantasy. But I appreciate
Lisa says sociology is crap science. Oh my goodness, Lisa, I really wish you didn't feel that way. I mean, when you look at things like criminology, when you look at things like certain aspects of law, when you look at linguistics, when you look at social class and things like that, I mean, even secularism, these are all branches of sociology, and I would definitely wouldn't call it crap science. I would strongly caution against saying that. I mean, I think even LT or Lord Thoth here, he studied criminology, and he's an RCMP officer here, and he definitely, I think it's definitely a worthwhile science to study criminal behavior, what motivates people to commit crimes and things like that. And this is just one example of how sociology is vital to society for many reasons. Imagine if we didn't study law. Imagine if we didn't look at law and see its effects on people and things like that. So. Of course, I'm not saying that it hasn't done harm. You've written in the chat, sociology has done more harm. Well, that's up for debate, but I can definitely tell you that it's not crap science. There are many branches of sociology that are vital to science and to society in general, especially in order in maintaining order in a society and making sure that we're doing things the right way. Anyway.
Well, let me go through the couple more things. This is great, fascinating discussion. But the Production Diary Series A, Blake 7, getting back to Blake 7, that's also out too. So that's a much more expensive book, $66.
Looks nice.
Looks nice. I'm thinking of getting it. Maybe I got to see what the discount codes are, but I definitely want to get the magazine.
So it's 4.
Yeah, they're going to be 4 books. So
wow,
it's going to be pretty. And Tim sent me this FKH. So this is a really cool. This is the plans. So thank you, Tim, for sending this. Brickmania, you can buy the plans to build the Starfleet Constitution class cruiser, and then you can order the parts. I'll put the link in, so thank you for that, Tim. So you can order the parts and then build the ship. So it's on Bricklink. So you have to put it together and order the parts, but it's a fun little project there. And then of course you can buy the stickers that go with it, so you can have USS Brickmania, Enterprise, Constellation, Constitution, Endeavor. You could have fun with that, and make any ship that you want with with these stickers. So of course Brickmania is fun. So yeah, they're not a physical product. Yep. And also I'll put all these links in. The Ghostbusters Firehouse is on sale, $72. The Playmobil version, which is very cool. And I know the Lego one is like $400-$500, but this seems like a very cool playset. So if you do have that Ghostbusters Playmobil, you might be interested. And for Raquel, next year, I'm doing a lot of stuff quickly, but it's late. I saw this, and Home Depot had a sale, and their Home Depot has gone crazy on animatronic figures and skeletons and things like that.
Big tall ones.
Big tall ones is a 12-foot. This guy is 12 feet tall, and this skeleton started it. This is 12 feet tall too. Became a huge hit.
My neighbor has that one, but I've never seen the.
This is brand new. Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah, where is
new,
that?
And it's at Lights Home Depot. It's sold out right now.
You have
I think it's about $250 or
yeah, $250 is nothing, man.
You have Home Depot.
Yeah, for Frankenstein's monster.
That can go directly in the living room.
That's what I was thinking.
Yep.
I was thinking, dude. I was thinking you'd like that.
Let me go to Home Depot.
It's sold out right now, though. So I should have told you the day it was out, but I was a bad friend there. I apologize.
No, you're a great friend. I love you, man.
But I'm sure it'll be back because this is for Halloween. So they had a halfway to Halloween sale, and they all sold out. And they had 4 skeletons for $150. And
we don't have it here.
You don't have it there? But it's sold out currently right now, so it might come back. So if
they'll
you
get more. It's a long way to Halloween.
Yeah, but how do I get that on 8-foot Halloween?
Did you get it at the store, Mark?
Oh, I didn't buy it. I just saw the article, and then they were selling them online.
Stores yet?
No, I don't think it ever even went to the store. So Home Depot's halfway to Halloween drop went live on April 25th. 7-foot Skelly's dog and 3-pack of skeletons sold out in under an hour.
Wow.
12.5-foot Inferno Deadwood Skelly and 7-foot animated Frankenstein's monster. So it's animated. So you would keep that up all year in your house.
That would stay up all year. Yeah, they'll probably go in the family room or in the living room. But
$279.
$279. Just hold on for 1 second, please.
Sure.
Foot.
Yeah. Wow.
What did it say? 7 foot. What's its exact name?
Animated. Frankenstein's monster.
Frankenstein.
Let's see. When you go there, it says sold out. So currently unavailable. Yeah. Unfortunately, but I'm sure it'll be back. If it's sold out that quickly, I can't imagine it wouldn't be back. And then these skeletons look really cool. 3-foot, 3-pack of 5-foot animated skeletons. Yep. For only $120. Yep.
Oh my God. Okay, can you do me a favor? Can you please keep an eye on that for me?
I will. Yep. I'll let you know next time I see it.
Because I'll order it from the United States and bring it here if Canada doesn't bring it in. Because I have to have that. I gotta have that. I absolutely love it. That's fully animatronic. That's terrific. I know that brand. Home Depot is great for that. Now all I need is a creature from the Black Lagoon.
Your life will be complete. Yeah.
Never know. They might do it.
Well, I have a wolf man, and I don't even know how tall he is. He's like 9 feet, 10 feet tall. I have a fully animatronic wolf man.
They would all go together well. Yeah.
I have Area 51 fully animatronic alien and his little baby. I have a fully animatronic witch, but I want the Frankenstein, and I have to have the creature from the Black Lagoon. Michael Beacom has an amazing creature from the Black Lagoon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. So I think, and I don't know if his arms move, but some of these Home Depot figures, they're animatronic, so they actually do move. Like I had a couple of YouTube videos I did last year, and their arms move, they talk, and I mean, just
They do.
And his what do you call the earpieces here? The diodes or
The bolts?
electrodes? The bolts.
He's definitely not the
light up.
daemon, is he? He's definitely the
light up.
pop culture version, but I want
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
You know how cool he would look in the family room?
He's Karloff.
Yeah,
Yep,
he's a
I'm
Karloff,
enabling
right?
Raquel. I just cost you 300 smackrels.
Oh,
Yep.
that's okay, Mark. I would gladly pay $300 for that. Let's do it. Can you please keep me
I will keep an eye on it. I'll send you.
Can
And I'm
you
going
do
to put
that
all
for
these
me?
links in the chat as soon as I'm done showing these.
Yeah, because
And
if that
so
goes on
here's
sale in the
quick view.
United States, I have to get that. I gotta get that.
It does look really well done, yeah. And it's huge too. It's not like you're buying like a 4-foot figure or a 5-foot figure. It's 7 feet tall. It's life size. So
He's
I mean,
perfect.
just what. But Home Depot is really doing well selling these. People go crazy now with Halloween is getting up there next to Christmas, I guess, in terms of decorations and people having fun. And
Yeah, it's like a month-long thing for me, man.
and I go crazy with my decorations on my house too. But I don't have anything like that. I got to up my game.
You do.
So yeah. So I think that's yep. So that's it for enabling tonight. I think I just cost Raquel lots of money.
I need this
big
guy
time.
though. He's beautiful.
It's cool.
Yes, he is.
He's
Yep,
beautiful. You know how cool he would look in the living room? Oh my god. I need him. Must have. Did I ever tell you about this? Like when Clubby and I first started hanging out, I always used to be on camera. I used to put on my actual Starfleet uniform.
Yeah, I remember seeing those. Yeah, yeah.
And I used to hang out with Clubby. Well, the first time like I turned on the camera, I was like, Clubby, I want you to meet my buddy Vert, which is just like green in French. And or Vert, as the Americans would say, but it's Vert. It's Vert. So I showed him, and I was like, after I got off of the stream with Clubby, I said to my husband, like, I think Clubby thinks I'm nuts. Like, imagine if you meet someone and they're like, hey, do you want to see my new 8-foot Area 51 fully animatronic alien? And like I turned it on, and Clubby acted like I was totally normal. And I'm not normal. So I just want to say that I love Clubby.
Well, neither am
It was
I.
abnormal. It was abnormal.
It was abnormal, right? So,
You're nuts. You are a nut. That's why
I
we
know,
love you.
right? Anyway.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, that's
So it's a school
fun
night,
stuff.
and
Ooh, yep.
Well, actually, you're actually going out there to try to buy Frankenstein. That's what I just.
Yeah, I 100% am getting one. That's probably going to be around $400 Canadian, but I'm definitely getting him.
I found a video, and oh my god, his arms move, his head moves, and he talks. His mouth
Listen,
moves,
I'm
his eyes
serious.
move.
Is there any way that you can like put like a notice? Because if he doesn't come to Canada, like I'll buy him and ship him here.
Oh yeah, no, I'll definitely keep my eye out for it. Yeah.
Okay, I have to
the
go.
only thing is Home Depot said it's it's not available right now, but I'll go see on my account if I can, see if you can do something where it says.
I want it like now.
Yeah.
And I'm in trouble because it's super, super late. So I have to scoot. I can't even stay for the goodbyes.
No
Hail
problem.
to the chat. Thank you for coming, everyone. And thank you for putting up with my weirdness. I love you, Mark. Thank you for the Frankenstein. And Clubby, I love you. Good night, sweetheart. Thank you for having me.
Take care. Yep.
Okay. All right, everybody. Let's see. Good night, Joe Dog. We're about to wrap it up here. Thanks for that enabling. Wow. How do you
I got her.
Hope you're proud of yourself.
I really got Raquel.
Nasty thing to do to somebody.
Ouch. No.
All righty then. Let's do some show noties and shout outies, shall we? First of all, you got anything to announce before that?
Well, just of course we'll be back for Sunday Night Geekery, 10 p.m. Eastern. Looking forward to that, and hopefully some foodery too. But
yowzer. All right. Well, hey, Putin's cat, you missed nothing at all, man.
Nothing.
Didn't miss anything. But hello there. I thought I saw Putin's cat. I did. I did saw Putin's cat. All right. So let's see. What is? Oh, tomorrow night Usually this on J-Man's channel, the Fantastic Four show that we do, our Fantastic Fridays. We're skipping this week, though. We'll be back next week to review with our Fantastic Four reviews. J-Man's going to be out on a special mission. But I will be on, as always, my good buddy 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser's channel with the Friday Night Comic Shop Boys, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Yes, special guests, the Saska sisters from the Rippaverse. The creators of the are the writers and artists of the writers, I should say, of the comic Yaria. So they'll be looking forward to that. I know that they are, and it's going to be fun. Saturday night Star Trek, as always, same track time, same Clobby channel. 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. 4 more episodes of Star Trek Voyager, and then as Mark mentioned, Sunday Night Geekery, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's see. What? Oh, sorry. Hit the wrong buttons. Yes, so come out and end your week in geek at Mark's. Great channel. Please go subscribe to his channel. He will put the link in the description below if he hasn't already.
Yep. Lisa reminded me too. Yeah, late night Fortnite starting to interrupt, but Friday night or early Saturday morning we play Fortnite with Dadman and Lisa and Mandalorian and JT Kirk. So watch us kick some butt. Yep.
There you go. And I'll be back on J-Man's channel Monday at 6 Central, 7 Eastern, with continuing our Legion of Superheroes reviews with Sean, J-Man, and myself. And then Monday night Moxie Comics Talk, of course, Monday night, 9 p.m. Central, and the usual shows throughout the course of the week. Now let's do some shouty outies, shall we? First of all, our wrenches, the great Bronze Wrencher Eric K, Chris Persia, Vindicator Wrencher, the Great White North, the Wrench of Iron D. Bud Martin, Lord and God of the Wrenches, Avon Lives, Long Live the Legion, Lord Thoth, J-Man, the aforementioned Wrench Without Fear, Fantastic Legionnaire Extraordinaire, Maximum Redstone, our Music Meister, Phantom Outsidery, our Rascally Wrench, our Triple Bullwinkle Wrench, Larry, Maddie's Daddy, and of course Cal L. And let's see. So who was here with us tonight? Let's shout you all out here. Sentai Ranger Donnie, thanks for being here tonight. Thank you all for being here tonight. Lisa, thank you, Lisa. Brian Hepburn, buddy, thank you for being here. Putin's Cat, thanks for being here, buddy. Ezra Goldstein, thank you for being here tonight. Shalom, my friend. Always great to see you. Oliver Belamonte, thank you. Joe Dog, let's see. Ted Truck of Apathy, thank you. It was always great to have you here. Let me get some. There's plenty left to shout out. I just got to get to them, folks. Did I say Brian Hepburn? Just in case I didn't. Brian Hepburn, Minimus, RRTNZ, thank you. Could not be reached for further comment. Thank you, my friend. Captain Infinity and beyond, thank you. Dadman and the Dadman Clan, K. Roberts, Claude Salling popped in a little bit earlier as well. Thank you, Claude. Apollomes Minion and the Pepperoni. Takes a while to get the new ones. So West Kegel. Yep. Thank you, West Kegel. Doc Fortune was here. Yeah. All right. Michael Beacom, and shout out to Cassandra. John Platt, thank you for being here, my friend. Herc 130. Let's see here. There's more. The Ravenscroft, my friend. I believe Patrick Britt was here as well. Brogu from my old hometown was here. Penny was here, of course. Penny. Cam was here. What's up, buddy? Thank you.
And he became a member too. Thank you, Cam.
Yes,
Cam.
thanks for becoming a member, Cam. Appreciate you, buddy. Let's see. Getting close, folks. I want to get everybody. We're almost got everybody. Blunt Plunk reviews. Miss Martin Muses. Thank you for popping in. Good to see you there. The great 1701 Tex. Yo, brother. Bop, 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 bop. Tim's Talk. What's up, buddy? Thank you for being here, Tim's Talk. Mazers, thank you. Your Muslim uncle, my friend. Thank you for being in here. Yeah, popping in here, that is. Let's see. Almost there. Stay on target. Almost there.
Stay on target. Yeah.
Stephen Mack. Yep. Suzanne Eckstein. SP4H. Adrian James. And now I'm going to start with confidence to say that I think I got everybody, other than, of course, Tim, FKH, but that goes without saying, got Tim. So now I'm going to say, now that I remember Tim, Keely Chow was here. Roll Tide, Keely Chow. And that's everybody. Got him. Boom.
Got them all, yep.
Yeah, all right. Got to catch them all, and we did so far.
Awesome.
So thank you all for being here with us tonight. I really do appreciate it. Have an extraordinary weekend, and I hope to see you. Hope to see you Saturday night. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
Clubber on.
Word is given.
Clobber animal!
Groovy.
You have to set an example even in the face of stupidity. Now, everybody that reads comic books knows that Kirby's Silver Surfer is the only true Silver Surfer.
I just love clobbering time.